Chapter 1776. Qin Wentian glanced at Chao Tian and asked, Big Brother Chao, Long Yuan Haoyu has violated the rules of the time realm. In that case, who should handle this? The vassal powers under the three hegemonic powers, the four immortal realms and the various sacred halls all have the authority to deal with this. They are the representatives of the three hegemonic powers. However, I'm afraid you have to settle this yourself. The Dragon Pool Manor originally has a very close relationship with one of the three hegemonic powers. Also, at that time Long Yuan Haoyu can choose to not admit it. Although I know you would be extremely angry about this matter, the impact to the entire time realm wouldn't be too great. Maybe no one would care about your thoughts. Chao Tian straightforwardly spoke. Qin Wentian laughed. This meant that his authority to speak wasn't enough. No one would care about a puny world overlord. This place was the convention of the myriad realms. World overlords were as many as the clouds. Since Mo Qingqing was fine, the other party wouldn't dare to kill her in his palace. If that happened, that person would be a complete idiot. Hence, although this matter was very important to Qin Wentian, it was insignificant to the convention. Bring him over for a confrontation. A surge of energy locked down that crippled world overlord. Qin Wentian stepped out and moved towards the direction of the Heaven Heart Mirror. His gaze was extremely cold. Luckily, Mo Qingqing had some good fortune and obtained the kiss of the demon god, allowing her to summon a divine phoenix. If not, the consequences would be unimaginable. Long Yuan Haoyu has already violated his taboo. Their silhouettes flashed. Their speed was extremely fast. However, before they returned to the location of the Heaven Heart Mirror, they were obstructed. Upon seeing these people, Qin Wentian frowned. He stared at the woman in the lead. Little Miss doesn't like people with the surname Qin, but there's no need to obstruct my path, right? The person who obstructed them was none other than that beautiful woman who said that people with the surname Qin are all trash. Who is the owner of the kiss of the demon god? At this moment, the gaze of this beautiful woman was extremely sharp. She swept her gaze over everyone. Not long ago, that aura vanished, but it should have come from this direction and coincidentally met Qin Wentian and the others. There should be no mistake, the owner of the kiss of the demon god must be one of these people. Qin Wentian's eyes narrowed. She knew about the kiss of the demon god? Mo Qingqing's heart also trembled. Could it be that the kiss of the demon god had an owner? As expected, the change in seating arrangement between Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing didn't escape the eyes of the absolute beauty who was staring at them. When she said this, she was also observing their reactions. The kiss of the demon god belongs to me. Return it to me and I can give you other treasures in exchange, the woman said. Qin Wentian knew that he wouldn't be able to hide it from her. You are the kiss of the demon god, so why is it with me? He was also puzzled. Who was this female exactly? Why did he feel a sense of familiarity from her? Also, she said that the kiss of the demon god belonged to her, and that treasure was something his birth mother had entrusted Uncle Black to give to Mo Qingqing during his wedding. And according to the words of that divine phoenix, there was a high possibility that the kiss of the demon god had a relationship with his mother. In that case, the identity of this absolute beauty was worthy of him taking it seriously. Back then, due to certain reasons, I abandoned it and ended up wandering outside. However, it is indeed mine. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sensed its appearance. Return it to me. You can name whatever price you want. The woman spoke, her words causing a strange expression to appear on 10 Miles Springwind's face. What arrogance, casually naming a price. Seems like these people were all extraordinary. Indeed, there was a group of world overlord beauties following behind them. They were all so young and were also at the world overlord realm. Most probably, they belonged to the younger generation of a peak power. Since you abandoned it and now that it is in my hands, it naturally belongs to me. How can you take back something you lost? Qin Wentian spoke. Earlier, the kiss of the demon god had saved Qingqing, and the divine phoenix inside also treated Qingqing as its spirit lord. How could he return it to her just because of a single sentence? Let alone the fact that this treasure might be related to his mother. Since it landed in his hands and was coincidentally activated by Qingqing, it naturally belonged to Qingqing. The kiss of the demon god is a treasure of my clan. Sir, why must you snatch it away? Little Miss has already said it, you can name your conditions. We will use other treasures to exchange for it. The old man beside the absolute beauty spoke. Not exchanging. Qin Wentian directly rejected. There was no room for negotiation. After hearing his words, an extremely terrifying might gushed forth from the old man. The other world overlords also took a step forward, exuding a pressure. 10 Miles Springwind, Chao Tian and the others also stepped forward. In an instant, this entire space became incomparably violent as a stifling pressure permeated the air. Once a battle broke out, it would surely be earth-shattering. Fine, let's not talk about this for now. Let me ask you first, how did you all trigger the kiss of the demon god? The absolute beauty asked. This was what she was puzzled about. It was impossible for the kiss of the demon god to be triggered by outsiders. If it was really in the hands of this young man surnamed Qin and it was triggered by him, what did this mean? I also want to ask you a question. Since you all said that the kiss of the demon god belongs to you, where are you from? Qin Wentian didn't reply. He also asked a question he wanted to know the answer to. The eyes of the absolute beauty stared at Qin Wentian. After that, her red lips parted as she replied, Desolate region Luotian clan. 10 Miles Springwind's body violently trembled. He stared in astonishment at the absolute beauty before him as he opened his mouth. However, after he said the word he didn't know what he should say next. Chao Tian's eyes were wide open as he stared at the group of people before him. His heart was also fluctuating wildly. What situation was this? They actually met a descendant of the legendary Luotian clan of the Desolate region in the Mystic region? Old Ghost's eyes narrowed into slits again. His phoenix eyes stared at Qin Wentian. Clearly, he had lived in the supreme ancient immortal realms for many years, and was no stranger to this surname. This was especially so when Qin Wentian mentioned the words Desolate region. In that case, the weight of this surname was something that everyone would have to consider carefully. I say, Brother Qin, why don't you return the treasure to her? There's no need to be polite, just raise the price as high as you want. 10 Miles Springwind transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian started. This 10 Miles Springwind had a carefree personality, but he had always been someone who feared nothing in the heavens or earth. If not, he wouldn't have dared to suggest robbing the Heaven Immortal Tower. However, after hearing Qin Wentian's surname, he actually took the initiative to ask him to return the treasure? This didn't seem to be his personality, unless this surname was very famous. What's going on? Qin Wentian transmitted his voiceover. Desolate region Luotian clan. Have you never heard of them before? 100 Miles Springwind speechlessly spoke. This person before us can destroy you at any moment. No one would be able to take revenge for you. You have no choice but to be convinced. This isn't something the Dragon Pool clan can compare to. Luotian clan. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with sharpness. How long has it been since he came to the supreme ancient immortal realms? He was already very familiar with the various peak powers of the Mystic region, but he wasn't very familiar with the Desolate region. Hence, he had never heard of the Luotian clan before. He naturally didn't understand the significance of the Luotian clan. Now, can you answer my question? The beautiful young woman stared at Qin Wentian as she asked. Not only was Qin Wentian curious about her, she was also very curious about the fact that this young man could trigger the kiss of the demon god. This was especially so since this young man before her had the surname Qin. Qin Wentian stared at her. Right now, he was hesitating. Should he say it or not? If he said it, what consequences would there be? However, if he wanted to verify the conjecture in his heart, this young woman before him was the key. Does the kiss of the demon god belong to the Luotian clan? Qin Wentian seriously asked. Why would I lie to you? The young woman stared at Qin Wentian. In that case, tell me first, what is the condition to trigger the kiss of the demon god? As long as you answer me, I will tell you what you want to know. Qin Wentian spoke. The kiss of the demon god contains a spirit body. The blood of the spirit body was forged into a magic treasure. If the corresponding magic treasure meets the spirit body, it would trigger the kiss of the demon god. Only my clan possesses a treasure forged from the blood of a spirit body. Why would you have one on you? This time around, the young woman transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. Her words seemed to further verify Qin Wentian's guess. During my wedding, my mother once gifted a phoenix robe to my wife. She has always been wearing it. Qin Wentian similarly transmitted his voice to the young woman. The young woman felt as though she was struck by lightning. Her beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Qin Wentian. "Who is your mother?" the young woman asked. "I don't know." Qin Wentian spoke. In truth, he was extremely hesitant earlier, but he still chose to say it. He didn't know what consequences his words would bring to him. Would it be a calamity? He stared at the beautiful young woman before him, staring at her face, not wanting to miss out on any details. He wanted to clearly see the minute changes in her expression, and from there, he would be able to deduce some things. Since he said that, he had to make some preparations. The young woman's breathing was a little hurried at this moment. She was also staring fixedly at Qin Wentian. A moment later, she suddenly turned and left, not continuing to pursue the kiss of the demon god. This caused the people in the surroundings to feel bewildered. They didn't understand what was happening. "What's going on?" 10 Miles Springwind asked. "I have no idea as well." Qin Wentian stared at the departing back of the young woman as he drew in a deep breath. What would he face next? He had no way to predict. "Let's go to the Heaven Heart Mirror. We still haven't settled Long Yuan Haoyu's matter." Qin Wentian spoke. 10 Miles Springwind and the others nodded. Evidently, Qin Wentian didn't want to mention this matter anymore. Seems like there were some secrets hidden within. However, they wouldn't continue to pursue this matter. Who didn't have secrets? After that young woman left, she madly sprinted back to the palace she was in. At this moment, she still hadn't calmed down and her emotions were in turmoil. "Young miss, what's wrong?" The old man followed behind her and asked. He didn't understand why his young miss would suddenly give up on pursuing the kiss of the demon god. Also, her entire person seemed a little abnormal. "I wish to be alone for a while." She walked into her room alone and sat there in a daze, as though she was thinking about something. As she thought about it, a tear actually appeared at the corner of her eyes. His surname was Qin and his mother had a phoenix robe. In that case, his identity was already very clear. She actually also had her own son, and he was already a world overlord. Chapter 1777. Desolate Region, Luotian Clan. This name was imprinted in Qin Wentian's mind. But now, he had to temporarily place this matter aside. In the Heaven Heart region, Qin Wentian brought that crippled world overlord over. His eyes were cold to the extreme as he directly walked towards Long Yuan Haoyu. Long Yuan Haoyu naturally also saw Qin Wentian. He also saw that crippled world overlord, and also saw Qin Wentian's wife Mo Qingcheng, who was safe and sound beside him. His eyes narrowed as a cold light flashed in his eyes. He actually failed. What a trash. There was basically no world overlord in that palace and he actually couldn't accomplish such a simple thing? He was even captured by someone. Now, seeing how Qin Wentian was walking towards him, it was clear that he was betrayed. The other party had already sold him out. At this moment, there was a world overlord walking towards the Heaven Heart Mirror, preparing to reveal his world heart. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over as he spoke. "Sir, can you please wait a moment? I have something to say." That world overlord glanced at Qin Wentian and nodded. "Speak." "Many thanks." Qin Wentian nodded to that world overlord. After that, he turned to the crowd. "I'm the Qingcheng Realm Lord of the Mystic Region's Qingcheng Realm. I've received an invitation to the Convention of the Myriad Realms and came here to attend it. I heard that people can bring their wives and children into the Time Realm and there wouldn't be any danger. If they stayed in the palace, they wouldn't be disturbed by others. But today there was actually someone who came to my palace and forcefully brought my wife away. If it wasn't for the fact that my wife had a treasure protecting her, the consequences would be unimaginably dire. There are many seniors here and junior wishes to ask, how should this person be dealt with?" The eyes of many flashed with sharpness as they stared at the dispirited world overlord behind Qin Wentian. An expert from a major power asked, "Hasn't his cultivation base been crippled by you? Since he did such a thing and was captured by you, why don't you deal with him?" "Thank you, senior. I will deal with him. However, this person is also acting under someone else's orders," Qin Wentian said. "Oh, Someone glanced in the direction of the Dragon Pool Manor opposite Qin Wentian. Could it be someone from the Dragon Pool Manor? Qingcheng Realm Lord, Dragon Pool Manor. Those who knew about the grudge between the Qingcheng Realm Lord and the Heaven Immortal Tower instantly understood some things. Seems like someone in the Dragon Pool Manor was unhappy with the Qingcheng Realm Lord and wanted to punish him. Who is it? That person asked. You tell him. Qin Wentian stared at that world overlord. Right now, that world overlord's aura was extremely dispirited. He stared at Long Yuan Haoyu as a malicious gleam flashed in his eyes. It was none other than him who gave the order, causing him to be reduced to such a state. To a proud world overlord, what did it mean for his cultivation base to be crippled? He would become a cripple from head to toe. Long Yuan Haoyu, why do you want me to do this? That world overlord's expression was ice cold. Long Yuan Haoyu calmly glanced at him and calmly asked, Are we acquainted? His words caused Qin Wentian's eyes to freeze. After that, Long Yuan Haoyu stared at him and spoke. He didn't abide by the rules. It's one thing if you cripple him, but why are you using this chance to frame me? What do you mean by this? Clearly Long Yuan Haoyu wouldn't admit to this. Before he did this, he had already considered the consequences. If he did well, Qin Wentian's woman would be in his hands. Qin Wentian wouldn't dare to announce this to the outside world. If he didn't do well, he naturally wouldn't know anything. Hence, he didn't look for people from the Dragon Pool Manor to act against him. That world overlord turned pale. He pointed his finger at Long Yuan Haoyu, clearly enraged. But right now, his aura was extremely dispirited and he was like an old man on the verge of death. Right now, there's someone pointing out that many people in the Time Realm know about the grudge between the Qingcheng Realm Lord and Long Yuan Haoyu. Back then, the serving girl Qin Wentian brought away from the Heaven Immortal Tower was a woman that Long Yuan Haoyu secretly kept. He arranged for her to stay in the Heaven Immortal Tower, and that's why he came here to take revenge. I can testify for the Qingcheng Realm Lord. How should Long Yuan Haoyu be punished? Haha. Long Yuan Haoyu laughed uproariously. He stared at Chao Tian. Senior Chao actually has such a good relationship with the Qingcheng Realm Lord? In addition to Senior Old Ghost, Boss 10 Miles and Phoenix, there are exactly 5 of you. Earlier, my Heaven Immortal Tower was robbed by the 5 of you. I believe that it should be the 5 of you who wanted to take revenge on the Heaven Immortal Tower for the sake of Qin Wentian, right? Chao Tian and the other 4 started. They didn't expect that Long Yuan Haoyu would actually guess it. Seems like they were too careless. Staring at Long Yuan Haoyu, Chao Tian spoke a single word, yes. Chao Tian didn't deny it, he directly admitted to it. Brother Qin is my brother. The Heaven Immortal Tower simply doesn't follow the rules. Insulting a customer who went to trade for treasures. Can't a serving girl teach a lesson? She even dared to use a treasure as the price to order people to capture Brother Qin. I naturally have to vent my anger. Hence, I suggested to rob the Heaven Immortal Tower. I admit to my actions. What about you? Chao Tian stared at Long Yuan Haoyu. Senior Chao is as expected of someone from the Chao clan. Just because there's a disagreement, you directly acted like a bandit, robbing my Heaven Immortal Tower. Long Yuan Haoyu coldly laughed. As for what you said, if I was the one who did it, I would naturally admit to it. But I truly don't know this person. As expected of a world overlord character, your character is so good. Qin Wentian coldly stared at Long Yuan Haoyu. He knew that they robbed the Heaven Immortal Tower, but he was still so calm. He still didn't want to admit to his actions. Brother Chao, shouldn't you give us an explanation for this matter? Among the people from the Dragon Pool Manor, an elder of Long Yuan Haoyu spoke. Although the treasures in the Heaven Immortal Tower were merely a small portion of their Dragon Pool Manor's wealth, this was equivalent to smacking the face of their Dragon Pool Manor. In addition, Chao Tian even admitted to it in front of everyone. Did he even have the Dragon Pool Manor in his eyes? What explanation? Chao Tian coldly spoke. Just based on what your Heaven Immortal Tower has done, so what if I robbed it? Could it be that you want to decapitate me? As for your Dragon Pool Manor, you should properly discipline your juniors. Don't touch all sorts of women and make a fool of yourself. Now that you've done such a shameless thing, you still don't dare to admit it? That's really rude and unreasonable. Many people watched the conflict with interest. As expected of Chao Tian from the Chao clan, I robbed your heaven immortal tower, but what can you do to me? Even after robbing others, he still acted so righteously. Such a tyrannical bandit was truly unparalleled. A very shameless matter was actually made into something as righteous as standing up for his brothers. You still have to give us an explanation. At this moment, Qin Wentian suddenly spoke, causing Chao Tian to start. Was this fellow stupid? He had already shouldered the responsibility, but Qin Wentian still wanted to admit it? Only to see that Qin Wentian stared at Long Yuan Haoyu as he continued. I had a part in robbing the Heaven Immortal Tower, and it's also true that your Heaven Immortal Tower wanted to capture me. Now, you even sent people to deal with my wife. Since this is the case, let's use the convention as an opportunity. Long Yuan Haoyu, let's have a battle and end this grudge with one side dying. How about it? Interesting. The experts in the surroundings all laughed. Qin Wentian publicly challenged the genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor, Long Yuan Haoyu. In addition, he even requested for a life-and-death battle. In that case, would Long Yuan Haoyu accept the challenge? The Qingcheng Realm Lord's fame as a transcendent-level world overlord had already been verified. He easily insta-killed 3 world overlords from the Dragon Pool Manor. However, Long Yuan Haoyu was known as the genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor. How could he be weak? In addition, just like what Qin Wentian has said, although the convention wasn't a direct competition, the purpose of the convention was to probe the strength and talent of the world overlords of the Mystic region. At the end, there would be people who obtained heaven-defying good fortune and joined a Tao element. There would also be people who obtained treasures, and there were even supreme characters who could directly enter the tutelage of a heavenly deity. In the convention, competition was unavoidable. Right now, this Qingcheng Realm Lord took the initiative to challenge Long Yuan Haoyu. If he didn't agree, he most probably wouldn't be able to. If he did that, it would be akin to smacking the face of the Dragon Pool Manor. Others would mock him. The genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor was arrogant. Could it be that he didn't even dare to fight against an outsider, the Qingcheng Realm Lord? Transcendent-level world overlords naturally had their own deterrent force. Qin Wentian insta-killed 3 world overlords in a single battle. Long Yuan Haoyu also felt some hesitation, but when he saw the gazes of countless major characters on him, he knew that he had no choice but to accept the challenge. Gutsy. Chao Tian stared at Qin Wentian as he silently praised in his heart. Leaving aside victory or defeat, Qin Wentian wanted to take Long Yuan Haoyu's life in the form of a challenge. This was gutsy. He wanted to kill Long Yuan Haoyu in front of the Dragon Pool Manor. I accept your challenge. Long Yuan Haoyu coldly spoke, accepting the challenge. Qin Wentian soared up into the air. Long Yuan Haoyu also stepped out. The gazes of many world overlords and major characters in the surroundings were all focused on them, including the lifelong Realm Lord. He was somewhat taken aback. Qin Wentian actually dared to antagonize the Dragon Pool Manor? Although he killed the lifelong Realm Lord, it hasn't been a long time since he became a world overlord, right? How strong could he be? Right now, before the Heaven Heart Mirror, since the two of you want to challenge each other, why don't you fight within the area illuminated by the mirror? Release your Heaven Heart mandates and display your talent. In the air, an extremely powerful world overlord from a major power spoke. Long Yuan Haoyu nodded yes. The person who spoke clearly had an extraordinary status. His silhouette flashed as he entered the area illuminated by the Heaven Heart Mirror. Qin Wentian entered as well. At the peak of this resplendent ancient mountain, the 2 world overlords faced each other. This would be the first battle of the Convention of the Myriad Realms, and everyone in the Time Realm would be able to see it. With an intention of his will, Long Yuan Haoyu instantly caused the color of the sky to change. An incomparably terrifying fluctuation circulated around him, transforming into a halo of light that protected him. At this instant, it was like the entire world was protecting him. At this moment, the Heaven Heart Mirror radiated a resplendent light. A defensive type Heaven Heart mandate. Everyone mused silently when they saw this scene. Long Yuan Haoyu stretched out his hand again and grasped at the air. A supreme might descended, suppressing everything. The Heaven Heart Mirror once again radiated a bright light, akin to a bolt of lightning arcing through the Time Realm. However, this wasn't the end. Long Yuan Haoyu continued to release Heaven Heart mandates until the Heaven Heart Mirror radiated 5 beams of light. This caused the eyes of many to narrow. as expected of a genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor. Can you do it? Long Yuan Haoyu stared at Qin Wentian as he calmly spoke. Although the amount of heaven heart mandates one comprehended didn't represent one's strength, it also meant that one's comprehension abilities were higher. If he could suppress Qin Wentian in this aspect, he would be even more confident in this battle. Chapter 1778. Can you do it? Long Yuan Haoyu's words were filled with an intense provocation. Qin Wentian calmly stared at him. There was only coldness in his deep eyes. When has the strength of a world overlord ever been measured by the number of heaven heart mandates they have comprehended? Qin Wentian spoke. Ridiculous. The strength of a world overlord naturally cannot be measured by the number of heaven heart mandates they have comprehended. But what's the reason why so many people are blocked outside the world overlord realm? It's because they can't comprehend a single heaven heart mandate. The number of heaven heart mandates one comprehended can be used to determine the comprehension ability of a world overlord. If there's no quantity, what quality is there to speak of? Long Yuan Haoyu arrogantly spoke. Long Yuan Haoyu is right. Although there are many world overlords in the convention and world overlords aren't that rare, one must know that the people who came here to attend the convention are the peak powers of the entire mystic region. For a world overlord to walk out of millions and millions of people, one can see how difficult it is to comprehend heaven heart mandates. A major character in the air slowly spoke. World overlords who can comprehend a single heaven heart mandate are the most ordinary of world overlords. It's already not bad to comprehend 2, and it's not easy to comprehend 3. As for 4 or 5 heaven heart mandates, one would have to be extremely talented. The two of you shouldn't have cultivated for a very long period of time. Since Long Yuan Haoyu was able to comprehend 5 heaven heart mandates, his talent is truly outstanding. These words are extremely true. Given Long Yuan Haoyu's age, it's truly not easy. Another person spoke. Long Yuan Haoyu stared at Qin Wentian with a mocking smile in his eyes. Seniors are right. Seems like Junior has underestimated heaven heart mandates. Qin Wentian spoke to the expert who spoke up for Long Yuan Haoyu. At this moment, a mocking smile appeared on his face as he continued, however. Is it very difficult to comprehend the quantity of heaven heart mandates? Stop boasting. Someone from the Dragon Pool Manor berated. Of course it's difficult. This is especially so for comprehending 5 heaven heart mandates. Another person in the air spoke. So this is the case. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. After that, a beam of light radiated from him. This was the power of the Light Blaze Heaven Heart Mandate. As this Heaven Heart Mandate was released, the Heaven Heart Mirror flashed with a resplendent light. This meant that he had released the first type of Heaven Heart Mandate. After that, Qin Wentian's body turned illusory as he vanished into the void. After that, he instantly reappeared. This continued. A second beam of light shot out from the Heaven Heart Mirror. Qin Wentian and his Heaven Heart Mandate shone brilliantly in the Time Realm. This Qingcheng Realm Lord is a transcendent-level world overlord. Although he might not be able to comprehend 5 Heaven Heart Mandates, it shouldn't be a problem for him to comprehend 4. It's just that I wonder if he would be able to stand on equal grounds with Long Yuan Haoyu. Many people who knew that Qin Wentian was a transcendent-level world overlord weren't surprised. Transcendent-level world overlords meant that Qin Wentian might be able to fuse 3 different source origins together. For these 3 source origins, even if he fused them in pairs, he would still be able to fuse 3 different source origins together. In addition, if he fused all 3 source origins together, that would be a total of 4. However, if a world overlord spent all their effort on fusing 3 source origins together, their comprehension of the other source origins would surely be much weaker. Hence, it shouldn't be easy to comprehend a 5th Heaven Heart Mandate. Just like what the crowd expected, Qin Wentian consecutively released 4 types of Heaven Heart Mandates. The Heaven Heart Mirror flashed with 4 beams of light. Long Yuan Haoyu's eyes narrowed as he stared at Qin Wentian's figure. Could Qin Wentian still have more Heaven Heart Mandates? Qin Wentian's movements paused. At this moment, countless gazes were focused on him. Long Yuan Haoyu also felt a little nervous. His gaze didn't shift away from Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian waved his hand as a beam of void energy shot out from the void, transforming into a terrifying energy beam that instantly appeared before Long Yuan Haoyu. After that, it suddenly halted as the Heaven Heart Mirror released a fifth beam of light. Qin Wentian released 5 types of Heaven Heart mandates in a carefree manner. Before I comprehended my world heart, I've already observed the various types of Heaven Heart mandates, using them to comprehend the power of my own Heaven Heart mandates. Because, although I've only cultivated for a short period of time and the time I spent in the World Overlord realm was even shorter, I still have some insights into Heaven Heart mandates. Is this very difficult? Qin Wentian calmly spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, with an intention of his will, countless resplendent beams of light shot towards him. At this moment, the divine weapons on the backs of world overlords hummed as though they were about to appear. There were also world overlords whose treasures were trembling, as though they wanted to break free from their control. Their eyes narrowed as they stared at Qin Wentian, who was in the center of the boundless light. A sixth beam of light shot out from the Heaven Heart Mirror. It has already surpassed Long Yuan Haoyu. At this instant, Long Yuan Haoyu felt his face burning. He was smacked on the spot. Those seniors who spoke up for Long Yuan Haoyu earlier all shut up now, staring at Qin Wentian speechlessly. Was Heaven Heart mandates very difficult? He said that although the time he spent in the World Overlord realm was short, he didn't feel any pressure when it came to comprehending Heaven Heart mandates. In addition, before he comprehended his world heart, he might have already comprehended many Heaven Heart mandates. This meant that his world heart wasn't derived from Heaven Heart mandates, but was directly comprehended. He was truly a transcendent level world overlord. However, did all of this stop just like that? No. Qin Wentian waved his hand as another incomparably resplendent beam of light shot out. This was a curved beam of light that contained both darkness and light. It soared through the air, exuding an extremely tyrannical destructive might. The seventh beam of light from the Heaven Heart Mirror was released. This indicated that the number of Heaven Heart mandates Qin Wentian comprehended has already reached 7. Do you still want to continue watching? Qin Wentian stared at Long Yuan Haoyu as a look of disdain flashed in his eyes. At this instant, Long Yuan Haoyu's expression turned ashen. His pride was ruthlessly trampled on. Since you have comprehended so many Heaven Heart mandates and the convention is about to begin, why don't you display them? This is a stage that belongs to geniuses. It's time for you to radiate your brilliance. An old man from the Tiandao Sacred Academy spoke. Senior is right. Before this, Junior thought that there was no need for this. But now, I can only make seniors laugh at me. Qin Wentian bowed to the old man from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, humbly and politely. But at the instant he inclined his head. His eyes gleamed with a dazzling light that pierced straight into the hearts of others. The Heaven Heart Mirror released an 8th beam of light. A single glance from him contained the power of a Heaven Heart mandate. Next, the 9th and 10th beams of light appeared. The entire ancient mountain transformed into the Heaven Heart Mirror, radiating boundlessly resplendent light. 10 beams of light revolved around Qin Wentian, exuding boundless magnificence. The entire space was silent. Regardless of young world overlords or characters from the older generations, all of them were staring at Qin Wentian at this moment. 10 Heaven Heart mandates. This was already twice the amount of Long Yuan Haoyu's. His face was slap swollen. At this moment, not only did the people in the surroundings of the Heaven Heart Mirror see it, all the experts in the time realm also saw the supreme figure in the ancient mountain. In a certain palace, the expression of an old man froze when he saw this scene. After that, he turned in a certain direction and spoke. "Little miss, quickly come out and take a look. I told you not to disturb me." A voice rang out from within the palace. It's that young man surnamed Qin. He is currently releasing his Heaven Heart mandate at the Heaven Heart Mirror. The old man spoke. Although he didn't know what exactly happened earlier that caused his little miss to undergo such a change, he was sure that it had something to do with that young man. A figure flashed as a beautiful young woman appeared. Her beautiful eyes stared into the distance as the Heaven Heart Mirror projected the scene in the ancient mountain. 10 beams of light enveloped Qin Wentian. He was like a god king that reigned supreme over the world, exuding magnificence through the generations. He is sparring against a world overlord from the Dragon Pool Manor, and has already released 10 Heaven Heart mandates. This man is still very young, but his talent is simply terrifying. The old man spoke. The beautiful young woman stared at Qin Wentian in a daze as her heart trembled. 10 heaven heart mandates? However, how could his talent not be strong? He is still releasing heaven heart mandates. It's already the 11th. The old man exclaimed in shock. The heaven heart mirror released its 11th beam of light, causing the entire time realm to freeze. In the next instant, another beam of light flashed. The old man's heart trembled as he felt a little numb. He had been a world overlord for countless years, and was already a hegemonic level existence among world overlords. Yet, the number of heaven heart mandates he comprehended was merely at this level. Naturally, what he pursued now was no longer quantity. But how young was Qin Wentian? Most probably, he hasn't been in the world overlord realm for long, and he already released 12 heaven heart mandates. This meant that it wasn't difficult for him to comprehend heaven heart mandates. In the future, how high would his accomplishments be? The young woman's eyes turned red again. Her beautiful eyes were a little moist as she mumbled in her heart, "Father, why did you have to do all these things?" Now someone has returned. In the ancient mountain, in the surroundings of the heaven heart mirror, many experts and hegemonic level characters were staring at Qin Wentian as great waves rose in their hearts. A transcendent level world overlord? He was truly extraordinary. In fact, his talent was no longer something that could be summarized with just the words transcendent level world overlord. With 12 beams of light enveloping him, he made it so that no one else dared to release their heaven heart mandates. Who else could surpass him? Most probably, only hegemonic level existences would be able to do so. But compared to a junior, what meaning was there? The heavenly talisman realm lord's expression completely turned black. He found it hard to accept this. How could there be such talent? This junior who once joined the heavenly talisman realm as his disciple, how could he comprehend 12 heaven heart mandates? No one understood Qin Wentian's age better than him. A few hundred years ago, Qin Wentian was still a minor character. The people of the Dragon Pool Manor felt their hearts trembling as their expressions turned ugly. This time around, Long Yuan Haoyu accepted Qin Wentian's challenge. This was a calamity. To Long Yuan Haoyu, this was indeed a calamity. At this moment he no longer had any will to fight. Before this, he wanted to use 5 heaven heart mandates to increase his confidence and pride. But when he saw the 12 beams of light revolving around Qin Wentian, his pride was shattered. Only his heart was trembling. Everyone recalled the words Qin Wentian said earlier. Was it very difficult to comprehend the number of heaven heart mandates? They thought that Qin Wentian was just boasting shamelessly. But what about now? 12 beams of light enveloping him? Was this very difficult? Chapter 1779. To Qin Wentian, comprehending heaven heart mandates was extremely difficult. But after he truly stepped through that gate, there were no more problems. He had once cultivated in the world of 10,000 laws for many years and had seen all sorts of heaven heart mandates. He had experienced the true world of 10,000 laws and comprehended countless powerful heaven heart mandates. When he truly comprehended a world heart, heaven heart mandates became an extremely simple energy to him. Naturally, this referred to ordinary heaven heart mandates. They were formed from the fusion of 2 source origins. As for extraordinary heaven heart mandates, they weren't so easy to comprehend. One would need to spend a lot of time and comprehension abilities to comprehend them. Before this, it was true that he didn't have the intention to display his brilliance. But Long Yuan Haoyu's actions changed his thinking. Long Yuan Haoyu dared to violate the rules of the Convention of the Myriad Realms and directly sent people to his palace to capture Mo Qingcheng. What did Long Yuan Haoyu rely on? It was none other than the foundation of his powerful clan. As for him, Qin Wentian, he was merely an outsider world overlord. Such a world overlord could be casually picked out in the Convention of the Myriad Realms. Hence he knew that he had to do something. He had to let the various major characters in the Convention of the Myriad Realms know of his existence. Hence there was this scene now. 12 beams of light enveloped him. All of them originated from the heaven heart mirror. This meant that he had unleashed a total of 12 heaven heart mandates. Being able to comprehend 12 heaven heart mandates is sufficient to prove that your comprehension abilities are extraordinary. But there's one thing you are right about. The strength of a world overlord has never been determined by the number of heaven heart mandates they comprehended. You spent too much time on this, delaying your pursuit of a stronger heaven heart mandate. That's simply neglecting the essentials. That expert who spoke up for Long Yuan Hao Yu earlier spoke again. It seemed that Qin Wentian's display of heaven heart mandates caused him to lose some face. Before this, he had pointed out how difficult it was to comprehend heaven heart mandates, feeling that it wasn't easy for Long Yuan Hao Yu to have such outstanding talent. But after that, Qin Wentian unleashed a total of 12 heaven heart mandates. Qin Wentian coldly laughed in his heart. Long Yuan Hao Yu was praised for unleashing 5 heaven heart mandates. As for him, he only unleashed 12 heaven heart mandates, yet the other party said it in a different way. However, no matter how arrogant he was, he wouldn't be foolish enough to clash head-on with these major characters. Right now, he only wanted to deal with a single person, Long Yuan Hao Yu. As for other troubles, he temporarily wouldn't antagonize them. You're right, Senior. I will certainly follow your instructions and dare not neglect the essentials. Qin Wentian still said humbly, appearing very polite and impeccable. His gaze slowly turned over and landed on Long Yuan Hao Yu. Before this, he merely released his heaven heart mandate. In truth, this was a life and death battle between him and Long Yuan Hao Yu. Are you ready? Qin Wentian spoke to Long Yuan Hao Yu. Long Yuan Hao Yu's expression sank. He didn't feel confident in his heart. It was impossible for him to not feel guilty after seeing the 12 heaven heart mandates. It's time for our battle to begin. As Qin Wentian's voice trailed off, the weather changed in an instant. A terrifying force was born, descending and enveloping the vast void. World overlords were existences above empyreans. With a single thought, their will was the will of the heavens. At the instant Qin Wentian released his world heart, with him and Long Yuan Hao Yu as the center, the entire area became his world. His heart domain was where his energy was. At this instant, Long Yuan Hao Yu's expression was like dead ashes. If it was said that he lost confidence because of Qin Wentian's heaven heart mandate earlier, now when Qin Wentian released his world heart, he was already filled with despair. Because at this moment Long Yuan Hao Yu felt that his body was involuntarily moving. The entire world seemed to have entered into the absolute control of Qin Wentian. He was the ruler of this space, the king of this world. Long Yuan Hao Yu released his world heart, but he could sense that the world heart he was so proud of was now facing absolute suppression. This was a suppression at the level of his world heart, causing his world heart to be useless. His heaven heart mandate was also useless. In this domain, only Qin Wentian could control everything. In the heaven heart mirror, a 13th beam of light flashed, resplendent and resplendent. This meant that another heaven heart mandate was born. This was his innate heaven heart mandate. A heaven heart mandate that was born from his world heart. It directly fused with his world heart, and the heart domain was where the power of his heaven heart mandate was. Qin Wentian took a step forward. Long Yuan Hao Yu stared at his figure as his expression grew extremely unsightly. At this moment he felt that Qin Wentian was like an invincible heavenly deity, loftily staring down at him from above. He was a genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor. But at this moment, he was like an ant, being suppressed beneath Qin Wentian's feet, trampled on and looked down on. This feeling was extremely intense. The person before him was someone he couldn't defeat. Long Yuan Hao Yu regretted. Why did he accept the challenge? He had no chance of victory at all. Or to put it more accurately, he was already defeated. The two of them weren't world overlords on the same level. Qin Wentian's world heart caused him to feel despair. Staring at Qin Wentian walking over step by step, as well as the killing intent in his eyes, Long Yuan Hao Yu knew what his opponent wanted to do. He spoke, "I give up on this battle. Let this battle end here." As the sound of his voice faded, many people were stunned. Give up on the battle? Not fighting. Before this, Long Yuan Hao Yu accepted the challenge in front of everyone. If he gave up now, what did this mean? This meant that he had given up on his dignity and pride, losing without fighting. He was terrified and didn't even have the courage to fight. This was even more humiliating than being defeated. But the ending of defeat might be death. Hence, he would rather give up on his dignity. What a joke. In the convention of the myriad realms, in front of so many seniors, in front of the various hegemons of the mystic region, how can a world overlord agree to a battle? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. His killing intent soared as he continued walking forward. Long Yuan Haoyu only felt that the god of death was drawing closer to him. I admit defeat. Is this enough? Long Yuan Haoyu spoke. Naturally. Qin Wentian laughed. As the sound of his voice faded, his body vanished from his original location. In the next instant, he directly appeared before Long Yuan Haoyu and grabbed out with his palm. Long Yuan Haoyu wanted to evade, but the force was too powerful. In this absolute space, Qin Wentian was like a heavenly deity. He had no way to evade. His body was directly grabbed through space. It felt like there was an invisible hand grabbing onto him, lifting him up bit by bit. What are you doing? Long Yuan Haoyu roared in rage. His expression was malevolent. Since this is a life and death battle, there's naturally only one price for admitting defeat. Death. The killing intent in Qin Wentian's eyes towered up into the sky. Touching Mo Qingqing's people was unforgivable. Stay your hand. A thunderous roar rang out from the Dragon Pool Manor. Clearly, this person wanted to stop Qin Wentian from killing Long Yuan Haoyu. Die. As the thunderous roar rang out, there was only a single word, die. After that, everyone saw Long Yuan Haoyu's body directly disintegrating as his soul dissipated. He didn't even have time to beg for mercy and was directly killed. In fact, it felt like Qin Wentian didn't even make a move. With just a single word, Long Yuan Haoyu truly died. The hearts of many people trembled. The person who died wasn't an ordinary world overlord. He was a genius world overlord from the Dragon Pool Manor, Long Yuan Haoyu. He actually died just like that. His death was so simple. There was no battle, there wasn't even a single collision. There was only an extremely simple instant kill. What was a genius? A true genius would always need other geniuses to serve as a foil. And the so-called genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor, Long Yuan Haoyu, had undoubtedly become a foil for a true genius world overlord today. It was just that the price was too great, he had to pay with his life. What world heart is this? How terrifying. Many people silently mused. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the expert from the Dragon Pool Manor who shouted for him to stay his hand. What's the matter? That expert's entire face turned black as intense rage radiated from him. Earlier, Qin Wentian clearly disregarded his words, disregarded the existence of the Dragon Pool Manor, and killed Long Yuan Haoyu with no hesitation. In front of everyone, Qin Wentian killed a young genius world overlord from the Dragon Pool Manor. However, now Long Yuan Haoyu was already dead. What else could he say? A life and death battle was witnessed by everyone. No matter how much he hated Qin Wentian now, he couldn't say anything about Long Yuan Haoyu's death. Sir, your methods are truly ruthless. Just because of a small grudge, you actually killed someone from my Dragon Pool Manor. In that case, you should settle the matter of the Heaven Immortal Tower, right? That expert from the Dragon Pool Manor coldly spoke. Although Chao Tian was watching and they didn't kill Chao Tian, they had to deal with Qin Wentian no matter what. The robbery of the Heaven Immortal Tower was done by me. I will take responsibility for everything. Whatever your Dragon Pool Manor wants to do, I will accept it. Chao Tian domineeringly spoke. The grudges between you guys outside can be temporarily set aside. At this moment a voice rang out. The expressions of the people from the Dragon Pool Manor froze as they stared at the person who spoke. It was actually an expert from the Tiandao Sacred Academy who spoke. The world heart you comprehended is a little unique. What world heart energy is it? That expert from the Tiandao Sacred Academy asked Qin Wentian. For some people, the world hearts they comprehended were unique and unique. Qin Wentian's world heart was a little unique. Although earlier when Qin Wentian released his world heart energy, it only enveloped the area where he and Long Yuan Haoyu were. The experts in the surroundings could still sense the existence of that heaven heart mandate. Replying to Senior, this world heart is something I created based on the fusion of heaven heart mandates, as well as my own insights as well as my cultivation of innate techniques. From there, the power of heaven heart mandates can be regenerated. When the world heart and heaven heart mandates are unleashed, this entire world would be under my absolute control, while the other party's world heart and heaven heart mandates would be suppressed. As for the name of the world heart, I haven't named it yet. The name isn't important. Qin Wentian spoke. In truth, the power of this world heart wasn't as simple as what he said. In other words, as long as you release the power of your world heart, you would be able to control the world overlord you are fighting against. You are the god of this world. Your will is like the will of the heavens, deciding life and death with a single word. No wonder Long Yuan Hao Yu couldn't resist at all. That expert nodded. Why don't we name it Heaven's Fate World Heart? Chapter 1780. Heavenly Fate World Heart. Qin Wentian mumbled in a low voice. That old man continued naturally, I'm only giving you a suggestion. For the world heart you have comprehended, if there's a name you like, we will naturally name it according to your wishes. Qin Wentian smiled. He had a connection with the Tiandao Sacred Academy, and could be considered half a disciple of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Earlier, the words spoken by the old man forcefully interrupted the Dragon Pool Manor's plans to target him, helping him out of a predicament. Now the old man even wanted to name his world heart. He naturally understood that the old man admired his world heart. In addition, this name was truly fitting. How could he reject the old man's request? Since Senior is willing to bestow a name to Junior's world heart, this student feels extremely honored. My world heart shall be named the Heavenly Fate World Heart then. Qin Wentian nodded. The old man from the Tiandao Sacred Academy smiled and stroked his beard. Clearly, Qin Wentian was very much to his liking. Qin Wentian's talent was strong. He was extremely beautiful. His comprehension abilities were extraordinary, and he was born with a lofty character. Even for genius world overlords from the Dragon Pool Manor, he could kill them just like that. Yet, he wasn't blindly arrogant and was extremely close to the old man. In addition, he had once preached the Tao in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, and had a connection with the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Today you released your Heaven Heart mandate in the Heaven Heart Mirror, and shone with 13 halos. I wonder how many people would be willing to do so in the future. The old man shook his head and smiled bitterly. With such a dazzling example before them, how would ordinary people who only had 2 or 3 Heaven Heart mandates feel embarrassed to release their Heaven Heart mandates in front of the Heaven Heart Mirror? This was the voice of many world overlords. With Qin Wentian around, even if they wanted to reveal their Heaven Heart mandates, it would be meaningless. The Heavenly Talisman Realm Lord felt great waves in his heart as he stared at the figure in the air. Never in his wildest dreams would he expect that this disciple who once joined his sect would actually be so beautiful. Right now, he was thinking if Qin Wentian would find him for revenge. If Qin Wentian wanted to deal with him, he definitely wouldn't have the strength to retaliate. Long Yuan Hao Yu had no way to resist the power of the Heavenly Fate World Heart, and was insta-killed. Qin Wentian wouldn't be able to resist it either. In a palace far away in the distance, the beautiful maiden from the Luotian clan of the desolate region personally witnessed Qin Wentian's battle. Her heart was filled with waves of shock. The old man beside her spoke in a low voice. This young man's talent is extremely high. From his age he shouldn't be too old. As he spoke, he glanced at the young miss beside him. He guessed that this young man must have some sort of relationship with the young miss. If not, the young miss wouldn't act so strangely and even abandon the kiss of the demon god, as if she had no intention of taking it back. The beautiful eyes of the young miss were still staring ahead, unmoving. The old man had no way to guess what she was thinking in her heart. At this moment, a silhouette suddenly appeared in the Heaven Heart Mirror. This person was extremely outstanding with a single glance. This person was very young and had a handsome countenance, exuding an extraordinary aura. But the most terrifying thing about him were his eyes. They were like an abyss. Even if one stared at them from afar, they would still be able to sense how terrifying they were. When one stared at those eyes, they would even have the illusion that those eyes were revolving like an eye world. In the surroundings of the Heaven Heart Mirror, the eyes of many people flashed with sharpness. The moment the expert from the Tiandao Sacred Academy spoke, someone actually stepped out. Could this be considered a domineering response? Clearly, for the convention of the myriad realms, the world overlords of the mystic region would all gather here. Many peak-level world overlords came here, wanting to compete against each other. How could they allow Qin Wentian to bask in the limelight alone? Everyone could see that this young man was from a transcendent power in the air. This power was none other than the Samsara Temple, a hegemonic power below the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region. It was one of the peak powers below the hegemonic powers. This young man was none other than a supreme genius from the Samsara temple, an outstanding representative of the younger generation. His talent was extraordinary and was a rarely seen supreme genius. How could a genius world overlord like Longyuan Haoyu from the Dragon Pool Manor be able to compare to him? It's by Qingfeng, a supreme character from the Samsara temple. Many people felt their hearts shaking. Clearly, this man was very famous in the central regions of the mystic region. Many people in the time realm knew of his name. The supreme genius world overlord of the Samsara temple by Qingfeng was rumored to have fought against him before. But none of the world overlords were able to walk out of his world heart without exception. In the thousands of years since he became a world overlord, he had never been defeated before. This was the first time he participated in the convention of the myriad realms. Today, will we be able to personally witness by Qingfeng's World Heart and Heaven Heart mandate? Everyone silently mused. After that, they saw by Qingfeng unleashing his World Heart and Heaven Heart mandate from the Heaven Heart mirror. In an instant, everyone who was staring at him seemed to have fallen into an illusory state. Even for those who weren't in the surroundings, those who were watching from the projection of the Heaven Heart mirror also fell into an illusory state. After that, their thoughts were no longer under their control as they fell into an illusion of samsara, experiencing scenes they had never experienced before. Their hearts trembled, wanting to struggle free, but many people discovered that they had no way to do so. It was only after Bai Qingfeng retracted his world heart did everything return to normal. But in truth, everything earlier, the scenes they saw, all happened in an instant. How powerful! The hearts of everyone trembled. Bai Qingfeng only unleashed a single Heaven Heart mandate. It was his innate Heaven Heart mandate, the power of his world heart. After that, his silhouette flashed as he vanished from the range of the Heaven Heart mirror. He didn't compete with Qin Wentian in terms of number of Heaven Heart mandates. In truth, Qin Wentian's words were logical. Although the number of Heaven Heart mandates could prove one's comprehension ability, it couldn't determine the strength of a world overlord. What truly determined the strength of a world overlord was still the quality of their world heart and Heaven Heart mandate. Is this Bai Qingfeng's myriad samsara world heart? Many people silently mused. Bai Qingfeng's world heart was the myriad samsara world heart. Although he only unleashed the power of his world heart's innate Heaven Heart mandate, who would dare to doubt his strength? The experts from the Samsara temple had calm expressions on their faces as they quietly watched this scene. And in another direction, another group of experts from a peak power was staring at a young man among them. This young man was also a supreme world overlord, who was participating in the convention of the myriad realms for the first time. The young man stepped out, exuding incomparable confidence as he instantly appeared within the Heaven Heart mirror. Clear Sky God Mountain. This young man was also from a peak power under the three hegemonic powers. The name of this power was the Clear Sky God Mountain, and it was also a supreme power that could inherit Tao elements. The reason why the Clear Sky God Mountain dared to use the name God Mountain was because this power once had an even more glorious history. It was a true heavenly deity level power and had produced a heavenly deity before. Even though that heavenly deity had fallen later on, his bloodline inherited his innate talent, world energy. The name of this young man was Li Shao. He was extremely powerful and was also extremely famous in the mystic region. After entering the Heaven Heart mirror, Li Shao released his World Heart and Heaven Heart mandate. Numerous world gates appeared in the air, radiating brilliant light. Each world gate radiated boundless energy, causing everyone to feel a sense of surging energy. When that formless pressure bore down on everyone, it caused them to feel a sense of suffocation. In the palace that Qin Wentian stayed in, Jun Mengchen and the others were all there. After Qin Wentian found Mo Qingcheng, he naturally transmitted his voice to inform them. At this moment, they were all observing the situation in the Heaven Heart mirror. Before this, they naturally saw Qin Wentian's performance. Now, when they saw the power Li Shao unleashed, Jun Mengchen felt a sense of familiarity. World energy? Jun Mengchen mused in a low voice. He had to break through to the world overlord realm as soon as possible or he would be too useless. Before this, a world overlord directly brought Mo Qingcheng away in front of his eyes. He had no way to resist at all and felt extremely humiliated. Seems like senior brother has drawn out many geniuses. They all walked out and are secretly contending against each other. Junmingchen silently mused. Next, genius world overlords walked out one after another. In addition, they were all extremely famous young world overlords in the Mystic region. This was their first time participating in the Convention of the Myriad Realms. As for those powerful characters who had participated in the Convention of the Myriad Realms before, there was no longer much meaning for them to release their Heaven Heart mandates. The Mystic region is filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons, Qin Wentian silently mused. After him, many extremely powerful world overlords walked out one after another. Seems like they were all drawn out by him. But after these people walked out, those world overlords with ordinary talent most probably felt too embarrassed to reveal their Heaven Heart mandates again. After observing for a long time, Qin Wentian planned to bring Qingcheng away. He then bid farewell to the elders of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. When the old man saw Qin Wentian taking the initiative to bid farewell, he smiled. If you have time, you can come and look for me. I want to have an exchange of cultivation Dao with the world overlords of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Junior will definitely seek guidance from you if there's a chance. Qin Wentian nodded and departed. 10 miles springwind, Chao Tian and the others followed after him. Clearly, they were worried about the Dragon Pool Manor. Qin Wentian killed Longyuan Haoyu, and the matter of them robbing the Heaven Immortal Tower was also exposed. Most probably, this matter wouldn't end so easily. At the very least, the Dragon Pool Manor wouldn't spare Qin Wentian so easily. As expected, after Qin Wentian left, the people of the Dragon Pool Manor silently left as well. Many people with discerning eyes naturally knew that they wouldn't give up just like this. Earlier, the people of the Tiandao Sacred Academy interrupted them to settle the debt with Qin Wentian. However, things weren't so simple. Among the crowd, the little princess of the Donghuang clan had been paying attention to this. Upon seeing the departure of the Dragon Pool Manor, her silhouette flashed as she also sped towards the direction where Qin Wentian left. The experts of the Donghuang clan naturally followed closely behind. Donghuang allowed the powerful world overlords of the Donghuang clan to bring her along, and they soon caught up to Qin Wentian's group. Donghuang then spoke. Qingcheng Realm Lord, please wait a moment. Qin Wentian halted his steps. He turned and stared at the beautiful woman chasing after him as he asked, Little princess, what can I do for you? You killed a genius world overlord of the Dragon Pool Manor in public. The Dragon Pool Manor will definitely not spare you. My words are still the same. If I want to invite you to join my Donghuang clan, I will definitely give you the best cultivation conditions and won't restrict your freedom. You can also become a guest elder of the Donghuang clan. How about it? Donghuang spoke. After seeing Qin Wentian's true talent, she wanted to rope him in even more. Little princess has invited me twice. I, Qin, am filled with endless gratitude. However, I truly don't like to join other powers to protect myself. I hope little princess can understand. Qin Wentian rejected once again. Donghuang beautiful eyes flashed with a smile. She wasn't disappointed at all. She then continued, Since this is the case, it's fine for us to be friends, right? As she spoke, she even winked at Qin Wentian as a mischievous smile appeared on her face. She who was originally already extremely beautiful was now even more alluring. 10 miles Springwind, who was at the side, silently mused at how awesome this woman was. She was only at the Empyrean realm at such a young age, but she already knew how to use all sorts of advantages, including her own beauty. Chapter 1781. In the palace of the Luoshan clan, Luoshan lay paced back and forth in her room, hesitating. After a long time, she finally took out a messaging crystal and sent a strand of immortal sense into it. Father! Luoshan found a strand of immortal sense and transmitted her voice over. A loving voice rang out in her mind. Upon hearing this familiar voice, she lowered her head slightly and replied, Father, I met someone in the Mystic region. I'm hesitating if I should tell you or not. Who? A puzzled voice rang out. Luoshan fell silent. She was still hesitating. But eventually, she still replied. His surname is Qin. Someone from that clan? The voice in her mind suddenly turned colder. Even though Luoshan wasn't by her side, she could still sense the coldness in the voice. Father, I learned of him when I was investigating the kiss of the demon god. His wife had a phoenix robe that triggered the kiss of the demon god. Luo Xinlei spoke. Impossible. If there really is such a robe, it should only be in our clan. That clan doesn't have it. I also believe that the other clan doesn't have it. But he said that it was a gift from his mother to his wife on the day of his wedding. Also, he doesn't know who his mother is, and it's very possible that he doesn't know who his father is as well. However, his surname is Qin. Luo Xinlei spoke again. She didn't know how great the shock her words caused in the heart of the middle-aged man who was far away. Just like what he was certain of, only people from his Luotian clan would have such a robe. Those with the surname Qin wouldn't have it. But that robe was given to him by his mother. Also, his surname was Qin. How old is he? The voice in her mind rang out again. However, one could hear the trembling tone in the voice. He looks very young. He looks very young. His wife is even younger, only at the Immortal Emperor realm. However, his talent is very good. He's at the World Overlord realm and is also a transcendent level World Overlord. During the convention of the Mystic region, he unleashed 13 types of Heaven Heart mandates earlier, radiating resplendent light. Also, he seems to be investigating my identity. That day, from my conversation with him, I can sense that he has some suspicions about my identity, and is intentionally asking me who I am. It's very possible that he knows something and wants to find some answers. The other side suddenly turned silent. After a long time a voice rang out, "Layer, you should know who he is. You should also know Father's thoughts. Wait for me in the Xian region, I'll head there now." "Father, but you..." Luo Xinlei's beautiful eyes flashed with worry. "It's okay, Layer, you should understand your father." The loving voice rang out in her mind once more. Luo Xinlei's eyes turned red as she nodded heavily. She naturally understood her father and knew what her father was thinking. In this world, who didn't know what her father had done for them? After keeping her messaging crystal, Luo Xinlei hugged her knees, like a young girl in contemplation. Her eyes were slightly red. Should she blame her father? But what did this have to do with her? In addition, she knew what her father wanted her to do. After a long time she stood up as though she had made a decision. She then walked out of the room. Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't know how much struggle Luo Xinlei had in her heart. At this moment, a smile appeared on his face when he heard Dong Huangying's words. He then spoke, "Being able to be friends with the little princess of the Donghuang clan is my honor. I'm only afraid that I might tarnish little princess' reputation. Not long ago I was branded as a bandit. It's just a minor matter." Dong Huangying smiled. "I'm really curious, where did your talent come from? Up until now, I haven't even comprehended a single Heaven Heart mandate. You look so young yet you have already comprehended 13 Heaven Heart mandates. Also, your innate Heaven Heart mandate is so tyrannical, able to determine life and death with a single word. It's just that Long Yuan Haoyu is too weak. If he encountered a truly powerful world overlord, he wouldn't be able to do so." Qin Wentian spoke. His world heart could suppress Long Yuan Haoyu. This was why he could insta-kill him. A genius world overlord from the Dragon Pool Manor actually only received the word "too weak" in your eyes? If Long Yuan Haoyu came back to life, he would most probably die from anger. Dong Huangying gently smiled. As the two of them spoke, they unknowingly became more familiar with each other, like they were already acquainted with each other. At this moment, a powerful pressure suddenly gushed forth from the air. Qin Wentian furrowed his brows, and an instant later, he saw a group of experts flying over. These people were none other than the people from the Dragon Pool Manor. All of them were world overlords and their auras radiated forth, incomparably powerful. "Is the Dragon Pool Manor a sore loser?" Chao Tian inclined his head and stared at these people. His tone was extremely cold. "Chao Tian, although you are someone from the Chao clan, my Dragon Pool Manor isn't a nameless character in Time City. You guys robbed the Heaven Immortal Tower. Could it be that you, Chao Tian, can let this matter go just because of a single sentence?" A powerful world overlord from the Dragon Pool Manor spoke. He didn't mention Long Yuan Haoyu's death but used the robbery of the Heaven Immortal Tower as an excuse to avoid being criticized by others. The Dragon Pool Manor has such a great reputation. Tell me then, what do you all want? Chao Tian coldly spoke. You are someone from the Chao clan. Our Dragonpool Manor will directly negotiate with the Chow clan for what you have done. But for these 4 people, my Dragonpool Manor wants to bring them away. Arrogant. I've already said this before. This matter is my idea and I, Chow Tian, will bear all responsibility. If you want to bring them away, you have to step over my corpse first. Chow Tian coldly spoke. But everyone understood that the Dragonpool Manor wouldn't dare to kill him. This was merely a threat. Could it be that the Heaven Immortal Tower was robbed just because of you, Chow Tian? What has my Dragonpool Manor become? That world overlord spoke again. Can the Dragonpool Manor give me some face and let this matter rest? Dong Huangying stared at the people from the Dragonpool Manor as she spoke. The experts from the Dragonpool Manor were somewhat taken aback. They didn't expect that there would be people from the Donghuang clan here. The Chow clan was originally the governing clan of the Scarlet Sun Immortal Realms, while the Donghuang clan was the hegemon of the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms. It's not that my Dragonpool Manor doesn't want to give little princess face. It's just that the impact of this matter is too great and my Dragonpool Manor has no choice but to pursue this matter. But since little princess has spoken, I will only take one person away. The origin of this matter is all because of the Qingcheng Realm Lord. He was the one who abducted people from my Heaven Immortal Tower, causing all these things to happen. Hence, I have to bring this Qingcheng Realm Lord away. As for the others, on account of little princess and the Chow clan, my Dragonpool Manor won't pursue this matter. The Dragonpool Manor directly stated their purpose. Clearly, the person they wanted to deal with the most was none other than Qin Wentian. Robbing the Heaven Immortal Tower was only one aspect. They needed an explanation. He killed Longyuan Haoyu in front of everyone. How could he give up so easily? The Dragonpool Manor truly gives me face. Dong Huangying coldly snorted, feeling somewhat unhappy. Seems like I'm ultimately still a junior. I don't have the weight to speak. Little princess, why do you say this? It's just that this matter concerns the reputation of our Dragonpool Manor, and we have no choice but to be cautious. Only taking one person away is already because of little princess. Although the Donghuang clan was very strong, they were a power that governed the immortal realms in the lower world. They didn't have the authority to interfere in Time City. Could it be that they wanted to deal with their Dragonpool Manor because of such a small matter? Clearly, that wasn't realistic. A little princess didn't have that weight, and it was impossible for her to do such a thing for an outsider. Hence, there was no need for their Dragonpool Manor to give face to Dong Huangying. In that case, the Dragonpool Manor wants to start a war? Chow Tian coldly spoke. I have no such intentions, but my Dragonpool Manor has to bring this man away no matter what. If all of you insist on obstructing us, my Dragonpool Manor can only offend all of you. The experts from the Dragonpool Manor were extremely domineering. The world overlords all radiated their auras as though a great battle would erupt at any moment. You all can try bringing him away. From afar, another voice rang out. Everyone felt a little strange. They did know that there were people approaching, but right now, the experts in the time realm were as common as the clouds. It wasn't strange for there to be people coming here to watch the show. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he stared at the newcomer. The woman who spoke actually claimed to be a supreme beauty from the Luoshan clan of the desolate region. Upon seeing this supreme beauty as well as the many experts behind her, a world overlord from the Dragonpool Manor coldly snorted. You really know how to hide behind women. First it was Dong Huangying. Now it was Luoshan Lei. Both of them were extremely beautiful. This Qingcheng Realm Lord's luck with women was simply too good, right? 10 Miles Springwind had a look of wonderment on his face. He knew the identity of these people. They were actually speaking up for Qin Wentian? His gaze involuntarily turned even stranger. Impudent. A cold snort rang out. The old man beside Luoshan Lei radiated a terrifying might that bore down on the world overlord who just spoke. Upon sensing how strong the pressure was, the expression of the world overlord from the Dragonpool Manor stiffened. Who were these people exactly? Scram. Luoshan Lei swept a cold glance at the people from the Dragonpool Manor as she spoke. Her tone was even more tyrannical and domineering compared to Dong Huangying. The experts from the Dragonpool Manor all had cold looks on their faces. Their Dragonpool Manor was a hegemonic power in Time City. When had they ever suffered such humiliation before? So many major powers were threatening them, as though they were standing above them, incomparably arrogant. How impudent! Today I will bring this man away for sure. The strongest old man from the Dragon Pool Manor spoke. His name shook Time City and he was a hegemonic level world overlord. Right now, the Dragon Pool Manor was being disregarded and provoked repeatedly. How could he not be angry? If you dare to bring him away, I will directly flatten the Dragon Pool Manor. Luo Xinlei's expression was cold as she stared at the old man. Her tone was extremely tyrannical, even more so than Dong Huangying. Even Dong Huangying wouldn't dare to say such arrogant words because she knew she wouldn't be able to do it. She didn't have such influence in the Donghuang clan yet. However, this young woman who was even more beautiful than her actually dared to say such words. A young world overlord clearly wasn't a fool. Since he dared to say such arrogant words, how could he not have any confidence? At this moment, that expert from the Dragon Pool Manor asked, "Who are you guys?" Luoshan clan of the desolate region. Luo Xinlei coldly glanced at him. The hearts of the people from the Dragon Pool Manor pounded violently as all of them turned pale. The Luoshan clan of the desolate region. Experts from that power naturally had the ability to flatten the Dragon Pool Manor. The Dragon Pool Manor had never felt so sullen before. These arrogant world overlords were all stupefied by a single sentence. No matter how gutsy they wouldn't dare to be arrogant in front of the people from the Luoshan clan. In addition, this young woman before them actually dared to say such words. What status did she have in the Luoshan clan? Chapter 1782. The experts from the Dragon Pool Manor stared at Qin Wentian. Leaving aside Chao Tian, he was already together with Qin Wentian before this. As for the other two powers, were they trying to recruit Qin Wentian because of his talent? However, for a power like the Luoshan clan, what sort of supreme characters did they not have? Was there a need for them to come to the mystic region to recruit people? Given how vast the desolate region was, could it be that just because Qin Wentian released 13 Heaven Heart mandates, he could become a supreme genius who stood at the peak of a region? Most probably it wasn't so exaggerated, right? But the Luoshan clan had indeed acted and their attitude was so domineering. They didn't understand. But even if they didn't understand, they could only accept it. Because of the three words Luoshan clan. Farewell. The experts from the Dragon Pool Manor spoke with some reluctance. After that, the group of them directly left with black expressions, feeling extremely unhappy. The Luoshan clan was so tyrannical. There was no need for them to give any face to the Luoshan clan. Both parties originally wouldn't have any dealings with each other. No matter how strong the Luoshan clan was, they were still in the desolate region. If there was no conflict between them, it was impossible for them to target their Dragon Pool Manor. Dong Huangying's heart was also filled with shock. Her beautiful eyes stared at the young woman who was more outstanding than her. This young woman came from the Luoshan clan of the desolate region. Her radiance instantly paled in comparison. The Dragon Pool Manor didn't give face to Dong Huangying, but because of a single sentence from this young woman, they left with their tails between their legs, not daring to say anything. This was the disparity between them. Even if they were the hegemons of an immortal realm, they still couldn't compare to the Luoshan clan. However, why did Qin Wentian even know someone from the Luoshan clan? 10 Miles Springwind was truly puzzled now. Before this young woman came here to ask Qin Wentian for a treasure. But now she was acting so domineeringly for him, chasing the Dragon Pool Manor away. What was the reason behind this? However, Luo Xinlei wouldn't care about the thoughts of everyone. Her beautiful eyes once again turned to Qin Wentian as she seriously surveyed this handsome young man before her. He was so young and already has a world overlord cultivation base. He also has 13 Heaven Heart mandates and a powerful world heart, as well as innate Heaven Heart mandates. Was this their son? Qin Wentian felt somewhat uncomfortable being stared at by Luo Xinlei. Although he could faintly guess the relationship between him and the Luoshan clan, he didn't dare to be sure how the Luoshan clan would view him, because he didn't understand the start and end of that grudge. Back then when he told Luo Xinlei so much, it was actually a risk. Right now, this young woman from the Luoshan clan appeared before him again, and even helped him to chase away the experts from the Dragon Pool Manor. In that case, what attitude did she have towards him? I want to chat with you. Luo Xinlei spoke to Qin Wentian. To the palace where I live? Qin Wentian asked. Sure. Luo Xunlei nodded. She didn't have any misgivings. Let's go. Qin Wentian felt somewhat curious in his heart, and also filled with anticipation. What did Luo Xunlei want to chat with him about? Mo Qingcheng was also very curious about this young woman who asked for the kiss of the demon god earlier. Her beautiful eyes would occasionally glance at her. Can I go for a walk as well? Dong Huangying smiled. We naturally welcome little princess. Qin Wentian smiled and replied. Dong Huangying also wanted to understand more about the Luoshan clan. What was the status of this young woman in the Luoshan clan exactly? The group of them continued on their way and soon arrived at Qin Wentian's palace. When Qing Er and the others saw that Qingqing had returned safely, they naturally surrounded her. At the same time, they felt somewhat puzzled as to why so many experts would follow her here. Father Yaoyue, help me entertain them. Qin Wentian spoke to Chongqing the Great and the Southern Phoenix matriarch. I have some matters to discuss with them. Right. Although Chongqing the Great felt a little puzzled, he still nodded. He watched as Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei entered the palace alone, heading towards the back. A gentle breeze blew. Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei stood side by side, leaning against the railings as they stared into the distance. At the same time, they forcefully sealed this space, isolating immortal senses from prying into it. Their voices wouldn't leak out and they would instantly know if someone intruded. Father. Luo Xunlei stared at Qin Wentian. Although she had some guesses in her heart, she still asked. My father-in-law. Qin Wentian replied. Luo Xunlei nodded lightly. It was just like what she had guessed. What about your birth father? Luo Xunlei asked. You know about him? Qin Wentian stared at Luo Xunlei, staring at the side of her beautiful face. Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes stared into the distance, like she didn't hear Qin Wentian's words. After a long time she slowly spoke. Although I didn't have the chance to meet him, I've heard of his name countless times. If I'm not wrong, your father's name should be Qin Yuanfeng, right? Qin Wentian's gaze froze, but he wasn't too shocked. Since Luo Xunlei was acquainted with his mother, it was only to be expected that she knew about his father. Is your father still alive? Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes turned over, staring at Qin Wentian as she asked. I don't know, but I naturally hope that he is still alive. I'm the same as you, I've never truly met my father before. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. How could he not want to meet his father? Since you have never met your father and mother before, how do you know about your origins? Luo Xunlei asked again. They left behind some memories in my body, that's why I know. Qin Wentian didn't hide anything. Since the two of them have already revealed everything, there was no longer a need to hide anything. The matter of Qin Yuanfeng being his father was his greatest secret. But since Luo Xunlei has already guessed it, the other matters were no longer considered secrets. What is the relationship between us? Qin Wentian finally asked. He had always wanted to ask this question. This young woman from the Luoshan clan, what relationship did he have with him exactly? There was no doubt that they were related by blood, but he had no way to guess what their relationship was exactly. Luo Xunlei's heart trembled slightly. Her gaze was evasive, but after that, she finally inclined her head and seriously stared at Qin Wentian. She suddenly asked, I've cultivated for over 400 years now. Are you older or am I? You are already a world overlord after cultivating for over 400 years? Qin Wentian silently mused. Such talent was truly shocking. Naturally, when he thought about how the Luoshan clan was in existence that even the Eastern Royal Immortal Realms and the Dragonpool Manor had to respect, it wasn't so strange anymore. Regardless of their talent or cultivation resources, they were all at the peak. But even so, their comprehension abilities were also extremely shocking. If not, it was impossible for them to break through to the World Overlord realm within such a short period of time. I'm a little older than you. Qin Wentian spoke. Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes evaded his gaze. Her red lips moved, wanting to say something, but she found it hard to say anything. She who was powerful and proud felt somewhat nervous at this moment. Finally, her beautiful eyes no longer evaded his gaze. She stared fixedly at Qin Wentian and softly called out, Elder brother. Elder brother. This soft voice was like a bolt of lightning that blasted into Qin Wentian's mind, causing him to be stunned. Although he guessed that this young woman before him had a connection with him, He didn't expect that she would call out to him at this moment, "Elder brother." This young woman was his younger sister. In the past he had many sisters. Qin Yao Yilingshuang by Qing Luo Huan. All of them were like real sisters to him. However, this young woman before him was his younger sister who was truly related to him by blood. Seeing that Qin Wentian was in a daze, Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes flashed with hidden bitterness. She glared at him. "Do you not want to acknowledge me? How can this be?" Qin Wentian actually felt nervous for some reason. He had never experienced such a scene before. He stared at Luo Xunlei and asked, "Are you really my younger sister?" "I'm Luo Xunlei from the Luoxin clan of the Desolate region. My father is the elder brother of your mother. Your biological elder brother. In other words, he is your uncle." Luo Xunlei stared at Qin Wentian as she spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled again. His mother's biological elder brother. His biological uncle. In the past, he only wanted to find his biological parents. He had never thought that he would have other relatives. In the Luoxin clan there was his biological uncle, his younger sister, and his maternal grandfather as well. Since Luo Xunlei was willing to call him that, this meant that her father, who was also his biological uncle, didn't reject him. Even if the Luoxin clan objected to his father and mother being together back then. However, things have changed with the passage of time. Other than some memories, Qin Wentian knew nothing about what happened after that. He naturally had no way to sort out these relationships that he had never come into contact with before. Qin Wentian stared at Luo Xunlei, his younger sister. At this moment, Luo Xunlei had already thrown caution to the wind. Her beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian. That expression of hers actually contained the hidden bitterness of a young girl. There was no longer the imposing aura she had when she berated the Dragon Pool Manor earlier. Upon seeing her expression, Qin Wentian suddenly smiled as well. His smile was exceptionally radiant and warm. He took a step forward and spoke to Luo Xunlei, "Can I hug you?" Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes instantly opened. She stared unblinkingly at Qin Wentian. There had never been a man who dared to say this to her before. However, when she saw the warm smile on Qin Wentian's face, she seemed to have lost all her temper. For some reason, she actually nodded her head in agreement. Qin Wentian walked up and gently embraced Luo Xunlei. His actions were very gentle and the smile on his face was as radiant as ever. There were no distracting thoughts in his heart at all. So it turned out that he still had a younger sister. "Younger sister," Qin Wentian called out in a low voice. Luo Xunlei's body stiffened at the start, but when she heard Qin Wentian's voice, she gradually relaxed. However, her expression was still a little strange. Shouldn't she have some conflict with him? Why did their relationship progress so quickly? This was too strange. Could it be because of their bloodline? "In the future I'll call you Layer." Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. After that, he released Luo Xunlei. Luo Xunlei glared at him but she still nodded. "I've told my father about your matter. He is currently rushing over to the Mystic region. He wishes to meet you." "Uncle wants to come?" Qin Wentian silently mused. After that he smiled. From Luo Xunlei's attitude, there was no hypocrisy at all. In that case, her attitude towards him must have been influenced by her father. Hence, one could imagine that his uncle would surely be very close to him. Upon thinking of this, Qin Wentian also felt some anticipation towards meeting his uncle. Chapter 1783. Qin Wentian stared at Luo Xunlei and drew in a deep breath. After that, he asked, "What happened in the past exactly? Where is my father's clan?" "Layer, you haven't met my father before, but have you met my mother before?" He came to the supreme ancient immortal realms and grew stronger. He had never given up on the things that happened in the past. This was especially so after he saw the scene of his father's death. He swore that he would definitely take revenge. "No, I was born later than you. At that time my aunt had already disappeared. My impression of her is only from my father's description and many rumors in my clan. I didn't experience that period of history personally, but no one knows of your existence. You said that you are only slightly older than me, but the time doesn't match up. In that case, during the battle in the Qin clan back then, your father didn't really die?" She had cultivated for over 400 years and Qin Wentian said that he was only slightly older than her. However, the time of that battle far exceeded this period of time. In that case, there was only one possibility. Qin Yuanfeng didn't die. In that case, my aunt disappeared after she was brought back to the clan. She must have left with your father again. Luo Xunlei's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian. Her eyes turned red and a little wet. After that, she walked to the side with sadness as though she suddenly thought of something. Layer, what's wrong? Qin Wentian walked over and asked. Nothing much. You will understand after you meet my father. There are many things that happened in the past, he is clearer than me and is someone who personally experienced it. At that time you can ask him. Luo Xunlei seemed to have something weighing on her heart, but she didn't say the reason. Although Qin Wentian really wanted to know everything about the past, he still nodded when he heard Luo Xunlei's words, suppressing the palpitations in his heart. Where is the Qin clan? Qin Wentian asked. The Qin clan naturally referred to the clan that his father, Qin Yuanfeng, was in. The clan that seized everything from his father, the clan he hated to the bones. The heaven region of the 8 regions, Luo Xunlei replied. Qin Wentian's expression froze. The 8 regions of the supreme ancient immortal realms were heaven, earth, mystic, yellow, cosmos, chaos, and desolate. Although it wasn't said that the first region was the strongest, one could be sure that the heaven region in the center of the supreme ancient immortal realms wouldn't be weak. It was definitely one of the strongest regions. The two of them chatted for a very long time. Because this place was sealed, no one came to disturb them. Many people outside were puzzled as to what Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei were talking about exactly. They actually chatted for such a long time. Even Mo Qingqing had a strange expression on her face. Although she wouldn't suspect Qin Wentian, Luo Xunlei was truly a great beauty. She couldn't help but feel a little jealous when the two of them were alone for so long. Luoshan Xunlei. He. What Mo at Luo Xunlei and the Mo and Luo Xunlei Qin the Tian Luo Luoshan he. Qin Luo Chunlong. Could it be that Luo Xunlei? When she thought of this, her heart couldn't calm down. Finally, 2 figures walked over. They were none other than Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei. Qin Wentian had a smile on his face and Luo Xunlei was extremely relaxed as well. After she guessed Qin Wentian's identity, her emotions were extremely complicated. It was only after she had a conversation with her father that she finally acknowledged the relationship between her and Qin Wentian. Today, after meeting with Qin Wentian, she truly started to accept the existence of this elder brother of hers. After all, blood was thicker than water, they were blood relatives. Her father and Qin Wentian's mother were brother Qin's younger sister. They had the same grandfather and she knew how much her father loved his younger sister. He had done so many things for her before. She didn't tell any of this to Qin Wentian. She believed that after her father came, Qin Wentian would naturally understand. The two of them who walked out were very close to each other. This caused the expressions of many people to turn strange. After a conversation, the relationship between the two of them became so good. Even if they were very good friends, they wouldn't keep such a distance. It was more or less a taboo. Moreover, it didn't seem to be intentional. It was more like they had inadvertently maintained such a distance when they walked out. 10 Miles Springwind's expression was extremely strange. This new brother of his actually managed to settle the relationship between a great beauty of the Luoshan clan so quickly? Did things have to be so exaggerated? Although Qin Wentian was very outstanding, this was the Luoshan clan. This supreme beauty of the Luoshan clan should have seen all sorts of geniuses before, right? Luo Xunlei and Qin Wentian didn't care about what everyone was thinking. At this moment, Qin Wentian was still immersed in the joy of having a younger sister. Naturally, he was also filled with anticipation for the meeting with his uncle. I'll return first. Luo Xunlei spoke to Qin Wentian in a soft voice. Qin Wentian nodded. If you wish to see me, just come and look for me directly. Luo Xunlei spoke again. The expressions of the people in the surroundings turned even stranger when they heard this. For those who didn't know their relationship, these words sounded extremely ambiguous. 10 Miles Springwind already had a look of worship on his face as he stared at Qin Wentian. A goddess-like character of the Luoshan clan told Qin Wentian that if he wished to see her, just come and look for him directly. Okay, take good care of yourself. Qin Wentian instructed. Luo Xunlei nodded. Her silhouette flashed as she directly soared into the air and left. The people of the Luotian clan naturally followed after her. The old man who had been protecting her was also puzzled. When did the young miss become so intimate with others? Should he report this matter to his master? Although this was a little unkind, in order to prevent the young miss from being deceived, there was a need to do so. This old man was still very loyal and he did report this matter to Luo Shenlei's father. However, the reply he received was only laughter, causing him to feel even more gratitude. However, since his master and the young miss didn't say anything, he didn't ask why exactly. Most probably there should be a reason he didn't know. Naturally, this would be a story for the future. After Luo Shenlei left, Chao Tian, Dong Huangying and the others were still here. They all stared at Qin Wentian with a strange expression. Chao Tian walked over and patted Qin Wentian on his shoulder. He spoke in a low voice, "Brother, you are awesome." Elder brother can't help but to be impressed. With the Luotian clan's connection, most probably the Dragon Pool Manor wouldn't dare to find trouble for you. Big brother Chao would have nothing to do with you anymore. As for the matters in the harem, you still have to properly handle them. After speaking, he laughed uproariously and left, appearing extremely carefree. Qin Wentian's face was filled with black lines. He was somewhat speechless. However, there was no way for him to explain this matter. He naturally wouldn't announce to the public that Luo Shenlei was his younger sister. This would be a secret between them. Brother Qin, I'll bid my farewell as well. Dong Huangying had a smile that was not a smile on her face as she glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, she bid her farewell and the way she addressed Qin Wentian became even more intimate. Clearly, she truly had the intention to befriend Qin Wentian. Although Qin Wentian was a world overlord with extremely good talent, he was the brother of Chao Tian of the Scarlet Sun Immortal Realms. There were also 10 Miles Springwind, Old Ghost and the others. Right now, the descendants of the Luotian clan also had a very close relationship with him. The future of this Qingcheng Realm Lord was immeasurable. It was truly worth befriending him. Everyone left. Chongqing the Great, the Southern Phoenix Matriarch and the others naturally wouldn't probe Qin Wentian's secrets. However, Little Rascal was staring at Qin Wentian with shifty eyes. "Wentian Gage, who is she?" Bai Qing innocently asked. Most probably, only she would ask such a direct question. "She's the same as you." Qin Wentian rubbed Bai Qing's head. Bai Qing glared at him again. She was already an Empyrean, but he still liked to rub other people's heads. However, she still felt a sweetness in her heart. Was he the same as her? In that case, did Wentian Gage also treat that beautiful young woman as his younger sister? "Qingcheng, I have something to tell you too." Qin Wentian called out to them. Although the two of them were curious in their hearts, they didn't say anything. They trusted Qin Wentian, but Qin Wentian couldn't possibly not say anything. There were no secrets between them and him. There was absolute trust between them. Qing'er nodded lightly. Together with Mo Qingcheng, they followed Qin Wentian to the place where Qin Wentian and Luo Shenlei were at earlier. After sealing the space once more, Qin Wentian embraced Mo Qingcheng and as he spoke in a gentle voice, "Qingcheng, I've found the clan of my birth mother. Finally, I'm about to get close to the truth." Mo Qingcheng's body trembled slightly. Was her conjecture true? Qing'er inclined her head, her beautiful eyes staring at Qin Wentian. The two of them could see the smile on Qin Wentian's face. Maybe he had always been searching for the truth. They were very clear that Qin Wentian was an orphan and Qin Chuan was only his foster father. He had never told anyone about his mother's matters, burying everything in his heart. Now, was he finally going to find her? Is it the Luotian clan? Is mother also someone from the Luotian clan? Mo Qingcheng asked in a light voice. The woman earlier is named Luo Shenlei. She's my younger sister, the daughter of my uncle. The smile on Qin Wentian's face was exceptionally radiant. Upon sensing his happiness, Mo Qingcheng and Qing'er were also happy for him. "Where's mother? Is she in the clan?" Qing'er asked in a light voice. "No." Qin Wentian furrowed his brows. Back then, mother and father disappeared together. Seems that no one knows where they are. Layer said that uncle would come and look for me. I wonder if uncle knows where mother is. "Wentian, we will definitely be able to meet father and mother." Mo Qingcheng leaned into Qin Wentian's embrace. She could understand the worry in Qin Wentian's heart. He had always been looking forward to meeting his parents because he was afraid that his parents were already no longer in this world. I also wished to meet them. Qing'er also leaned against Qin Wentian, feeling happy for Qin Wentian. She quietly accompanied him, enjoying this joy together. Right now, Qin Wentian's uncle was already coming to look for him. In that case, in the near future they would get closer and closer to the truth. No matter what the future would be, they would always accompany him, walking down this path together, regardless of happiness or pain. I really hope that father and mother would be able to see the two of you. Our family can be reunited, and at that time we can give birth to a bunch of children and enjoy the bliss of being a family. Qin Wentian smiled radiantly. The faces of the two women were a little hot, but they still leaned into his embrace. Chapter 1784. When Qin Wentian came to participate in the convention of the Myriad Realms, he also didn't expect that he would encounter his mother's clan. This could also be considered a coincidence. If it wasn't for 10 Miles Springwind suggesting to rob the Heaven Immortal Tower, most probably even if he encountered Luotian Lei, he wouldn't know that there was such a relationship between them and would only treat her as a stranger. Right now, the influence of this matter on Qin Wentian's state of heart had already surpassed the convention itself. However, to the many world overlords of the mystic region, the convention of the Myriad Realms was the true purpose of their trip here. Their gazes were still focused on the convention in the outside world. It has already been some time since Qin Wentian released 13 Heaven Heart mandates, and the various supreme geniuses all stepped out to display their brilliance. Although there were still people who went to the Heaven Heart mirror to display their Heaven Heart mandates, there was no longer a commotion like that day. This lasted until the light from the Heaven Heart mirror vanished from the ancient mountain. That ancient mountain seemed to have transformed into an ordinary mountain, no longer possessing the miraculous power of the Heaven Heart mirror. But on the second day after the Heaven Heart mirror vanished, on top of the ancient mountain, in the time realm, 4 resplendent beams of light suddenly lit up. These 4 beams of light seemed to have descended from the heavens. These 4 beams of light illuminated every corner of the time realm, resembling 4 stone tablets hovering in the air. There were experts who wanted to grab them, but they discovered that there was nothing in their hands. They were like beams of light, impossible to grab or even touch. What is that? At this moment in the palace Qin Wentian was in, Mo Qingqing stood beside Qin Wentian and asked in a light voice. The 4 beams of light were too resplendent. There seemed to be strange diagrams engraved on them that radiated the might of the great Tao. Qin Wentian also couldn't see through them. He stared at the 4 beams of light and replied, "There would always be some miraculous treasures appearing in the convention of the Myriad Realms every time, testing the world overlords who came here to participate in the convention. It's just that I have no way to see through them." Is all of this really controlled by the 3 hegemonic powers in the shadows? Mo Qingqing asked in a light voice. It was rumored that the Time Realm was the place where the Time King cultivated back then. Maybe there might be some ruins left behind by the Time King. Naturally, this was only a guess. Who knows? However, as the giants of the Xian region, the 3 great powers are unparalleled existences. Without a doubt, they know everything the best, said Qin Wentian in a soft voice. In another palace, the eyes of Old Ghost stared up in the air. When he saw the 4 spiraling stone monuments, his eyes narrowed into slits as his expression turned heavy. This seemed to be the legendary Time Monument inscription. Even in the convention of the Myriad Realms, it was extremely rare. He had already participated in many conventions, but this was the second time he saw the Time Monument inscription. In the past, he had only appeared once. After the Time Monument inscription appeared, a character that even the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region felt trepidation towards appeared. Right now, that person had already become a legend in the mystic region. As for Qin Wentian, he was still a nobody. Old Ghost took out his messaging crystal and sent out a few strands of immortal sense. "All of you, come to my location." "Old Ghost, what's the matter?" 10 Miles Springwind asked. "Right." Chao Tian nodded. Phoenix and Qin Wentian both replied and rushed over. Old Ghost was the most mysterious among the 5 of them, and was also the oldest. Qin Wentian always felt that he was a little mysterious. Back then when this Old Ghost entered Time City, he wore a simple robe and had a hunched back. Even Jun Mengchen thought that he was just an ordinary old man. If it wasn't for the fact that Qin Wentian was at the World Overlord realm and could sense it, he would have thought the same as well. Not long after, the few of them arrived at Old Ghost's location. Old Ghost, why did you suddenly think of us? Is it because of the 4 beams of light in the sky? Phoenix asked. Other than Wentian, this isn't the first time you guys have participated in the convention of the Myriad Realms. Have you all seen such a scene before? Old Ghost asked. No. The few of them shook their heads. Chao Tian spoke. You should have participated in the convention the most. Could it be that you know something? Is there something different about these 4 beams of light? I've seen it before a very long time ago. During that convention, there was another person who participated in it. You guys definitely know who he is. Old Ghost mysteriously spoke. Who? 10 Miles Springwind curiously asked. The others also stared at Old Ghost. This fellow was trying to keep them in suspense. Sorgenlai. Old Ghost slowly spoke. Who? 10 Miles Springwind was bewildered. He had never heard of such a person before. I don't know. Chao Tian shook his head. Phoenix also stared at Old Ghost in bewilderment. Qin Wentian had a face filled with black lines. Didn't Old Ghost say that he would definitely know? Why didn't any of them know? This Old Ghost. The mysterious Old Ghost also had a face filled with black lines. He speechlessly stared at these people before him and spoke. I forgot your ages. Maybe you guys don't know his real name. In that case, he has another title, Sword Monarch. What? 10 Miles Springwind instantly froze. His eyes flashed with a dazzling light. He had never heard of Sorgenlai before, but how could he not know the name Sword Monarch? This person was definitely an awesome character, a legendary character. The Sword Monarch of the Mystic Region, the #1 sword under the heavens. Chao Tian's eyes narrowed as he stared at Old Ghost. Old Ghost, how old are you exactly? You actually participated in the convention of the Myriad Realms with the Sword Monarch before. 10 Miles Springwind and Phoenix had strange expressions on their faces when they heard this. They stared at Old Ghost with disdain. The Sword Monarch's name has already shaken the world, and is known as the #1 sword under the heavens in the Mystic Region. Old man, you are still participating in the convention of the Myriad Realms? Isn't the disparity between you two a little too great? Phoenix spoke in disdain. Old Ghost's expression completely turned black. All right, all of you can leave now. I don't wish to speak anymore. Don't Old Ghost. Did the Sword Monarch really participate in the convention of the Myriad Realms with you? 10 Miles Springwind smiled and asked curiously. The Sword Monarch was his idol. Do you guys really think it's very long? How long has the Sword Monarch been famous? It hasn't even reached 100,000 years. Is it very long to cultivate for 100,000 years in the World Overlord realm? Old Ghost glared at these people before him. If everyone here has the talent of the Sword Monarch, my name would have already shaken the world by now. Would I still need to see you guys? Yes, there's no harm if there's no comparison. 10 Miles Springwind giggled. In that case, back then when the Sword Monarch participated in the convention of the Myriad Realms together with you, the scene before your eyes also appeared? Old Ghost had a heavy expression on his face as he nodded. Back then when Sword Monarch came to participate in the convention, he wasn't really famous. But his performance was extremely dazzling and was noticed by many people. He even had a conflict with a genius from the heaven-shrouding manor. You guys should know what happened next. Sword Monarch came alone with a sword and razed the entire heaven-shrouding manor to flat ground. This caused a huge commotion and the 3 hegemonic powers all had some opinions about him. One of them even wanted to capture him because the heaven-shrouding manor was a vassal state of that hegemonic power. You guys should know which hegemonic power I'm talking about. In that case, the rumor that the Sword Monarch came to the Heavenly Deity Mountain to challenge that heavenly deity and defeated him was true? 10 Miles Springwind asked. The truth is even more exaggerated than the rumors. If not, why do you think that heavenly deity compromised and didn't pursue the matter? The title of the Sword Monarch also resounded throughout the Mystic Region. However, it said that he also made some compromises. From then on, very few people saw him. Old Ghost slowly spoke. Wasn't there a rumor that he might have already been killed? Could it be true? Chao Tian asked. Naturally not. Old Ghost directly denied. Chao Tian stared at him in bewilderment. Why are you so sure? Could it be that you know something? How could the Sword Monarch be killed? Old Ghost didn't reply to Chao Tian. After that, he continued, alright, let's not talk about the matters of the past for now. Let's talk about proper business. These 4 beams of light are known as the Time Monument inscriptions. I'm sure that they have nothing to do with the 4 hegemons. They were left behind by the Time Realm Lord. Time Realm Lord. The eyes of everyone flashed with sharpness. What are these Time Monument inscriptions exactly? I don't know. I only know that back then during the convention of the Myriad Realms, the Sword Monarch comprehended the true intent of the Time Monument inscriptions. From then on, his sword improved by leaps and bounds until he was given the title of the #1 sword expert in the Mystic region. As for what he comprehended, I have no idea. Maybe everyone's comprehension of the Time Monument inscriptions is different. Old Ghost slowly spoke. Seems like another Sword Monarch has been born. 10 Miles Springwind mumbled in a low voice as he seriously spoke. Who? Chao Tian glanced at him as he asked. He's right in front of you. You can't see it? 10 Miles Springwind asked in bewilderment. Scram! Chao Tian roared. This was simply shameless. Let's go to the area directly below the Time Monument inscriptions. Although we can see it from here, I feel that there's still a difference. Old Ghost spoke. After that, 5 figures flashed and flew towards the direction of the ancient mountain where the Heaven Heart Mirror disappeared. When they arrived, there were already many world overlords gathered here, including the hegemonic level world overlords from the various peak powers. What Old Ghost knew, maybe ordinary world overlords wouldn't know. But for these peak powers of the Mystic region, they would definitely know. Hence, they treated the appearance of the Time Monument inscriptions with extreme importance. Even the transcendent level world overlords of the older generations were here. They sat cross-legged in different locations on the ancient mountain, staring at the 4 rotating Time Monument inscriptions in the air. Qin Wentian and the other 4 sat together. He was the same as the others, staring at the Time Monument inscriptions in the air. The Sword Monarch Jian Junlai. Although he had never heard of him before, but since he could be given the title of the #1 sword expert under the heavens, one could very well imagine how powerful he was. Maybe his accomplishments didn't depend solely on the Time Monument inscriptions, but it was still worth exploring. Chapter 1785. Many experts sat there quietly. Even for those hegemonic level world overlords of the older generations, they were all seriously staring at the Time Monument inscription. They did know of Jian Junlai's story and also some rumors about the Time King. The first hegemon of the Mystic region, the Time King, was a character that could shake the heavens and earth. Back then, the Time King of the Mystic region caused the hegemons of the 8 regions to feel trepidation. If this Time Monument inscription truly had a connection with the Time King, the Sword Monarch must have comprehended some sort of energy from it, causing his name to shake the world. Qin Wentian quietly comprehended. He could sense that the Time Monument inscriptions contained a great Tao. There seemed to be an indescribable energy that was as hard to fathom as the mysteries of the heavens. It was extremely blurry and indistinct. All 4 sides of the Time Monument inscriptions were the same. Naturally, Qin Wentian also understood that if the Time Monument inscriptions were so easy to comprehend, Old Ghost wouldn't be so solemn, and would even intentionally introduce the legend of the Sword Monarch Jian Junlai to them. More and more people gathered here. On the ancient mountain, experts were as common as the clouds, but it was exceptionally quiet. Everyone was silently comprehending. Luo Shenlei also came. When she saw Qin Wentian, she walked to a spot not far away from Qin Wentian and sat down. After that, she also started to comprehend the Time Monument inscription. The convention of the Myriad Realms was a peak-level event in the Mystic region. Even in the entire Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms, it was extremely famous. She crossed realms to come here, and since she coincidentally came here, she naturally had to take this opportunity to comprehend it. Time flowed by unknowingly. In Qin Wentian's comprehension, the Time Monument inscription was still blurry. However, it was much clearer compared to before. He could faintly sense the energy within the Time Monument inscription. It was boundlessly wondrous. In fact, he even sensed that his consciousness had already entered the Time Monument inscription. Within it, he felt like he was in an illusory world. This place was a world of the great Tao. Boundless runic light weaved together to form the great Tao of heaven and earth, incomparably profound. What Tao is this? In the illusory space, Qin Wentian's consciousness was roaming about. He had no way to comprehend what sort of energy was this exactly. The world of 10,000 laws contained a myriad of laws, but he had never felt such energy before. Could it be that this was the illusory time? If it really was the Tao of time, how could he grasp it? After comprehending for a very long time, Qin Wentian still didn't gain anything from the time monument inscription. He could only withdraw his consciousness. He opened his eyes and stared at the surroundings. Right now, a few years have already passed, but everyone was still extremely quiet. It was like the time when he first came here. A few years to world overlords was simply too short. It was just like the time when he first came here. Naturally, there were also some ordinary world overlords who didn't gain anything. Hence, they didn't have the heart to comprehend and could only sigh silently. Qin Wentian glanced at the second stone monument. He discovered that he had no way to enter this stone monument. Even his will couldn't enter. It was like the void, as though there was an invisible gate blocking everything. He could only give up and look at the other stone monument. This time around, things weren't the same as before. As he tried to comprehend, his consciousness entered it. It was still a chaotic void, mysterious and unfathomable. However, when Qin Wentian compared the feeling he got from the two stone tablets, he suddenly felt that something was different. Hence, he tried to unleash his own energy here. But he discovered that there was nothing. He still couldn't comprehend the crux of it. He withdrew once again and attempted to comprehend the final stone tablet. He also entered it, but after that, he felt that it was extremely quiet inside. It was like there was nothing there and he still didn't gain anything. On the ancient mountain, Qin Wentian opened his eyes and sighed silently as he stared at the revolving time monument inscription. Brother Qin, you can't comprehend it? 10 Miles Springwind coincidentally glanced at him as he asked. Mysteriousness. There seems to be some sort of miraculous energy, but I can't grasp it at all. Qin Wentian shook his head and sighed. Haha, if it's so easy to comprehend, I wouldn't have become a sword monarch. 10 Miles Springwind laughed. Don't be anxious. Although I haven't comprehended anything now, since I'm someone who wants to become a sword monarch, I naturally have to endure loneliness. I will continue to comprehend it. Qin Wentian had a face filled with black lines. However, he was already used to 10 Miles Springwind's shamelessness. How do you guys feel? In a certain direction on the ancient mountain, the people from a major power were currently conversing. Unfathomable. One of them spoke in a low voice. My consciousness entered the time monument inscription, but I can't sense the existence of any energy. Could it be the power of time? Someone spoke in a low voice. It's very possible. Time is formless. In the time realm we are in, the flow of time is different. But who can sense it? That's true. Time is a relative concept. It's formless and it's an extremely mysterious Tao. Time is formless, Qin Wentian mumbled. The formless Tao was naturally unfathomable. Hence, although he felt that it was boundlessly wondrous, he had no way to describe what was so wondrous about it. Elder brother, do you have any insights? A voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind. This was naturally Luo Xinlei's voice. Only she would address Qin Wentian like this. Bai Qing referred to him as Wentian Gage. My consciousness entered 3 sides of the time monument inscription. 2 of them seem to be flowing with a wondrous energy. One of them is incomparably quiet and I have no way to see through the last one. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. It's so powerful. I've only entered 2 sides. Luo Xinlei smiled as she transmitted her voiceover. Elder brother, the first-generation overlord of the mystic region is the God King of Time. The Time Realm was also established by the God King of Time, who has the title of the Time King. If these 4 sides of the Time Monument inscription have something to do with the God King of Time, you can consider it from the perspective of time. I've read through the ancient records in my clan before. The God King of Time has the ability to penetrate through the heavens and earth. However, the most basic aspect of the Tao of Time is to change the flow of time. World overlords would also be able to do that. This might be a direction. Qin Wentian nodded in agreement. Luo Xinlei's words were very logical. She, who was born in the Luotian clan of the desolate region, naturally had knowledge and experience that ordinary world overlords couldn't compare to. Let me carefully sense the three sides of the time monument inscription again. Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. Luotian Lei replied. Actually, there was still something she didn't say. She also knew about the elementary form of the Tao of Time, but she didn't tell Qin Wentian. Because only by comprehending it yourself would it truly belong to you and you would have a chance to obtain good fortune. Qin Wentian's consciousness entered the time monument inscription again. This time around, he was prepared to temporarily give up on the time monument inscription that he couldn't enter. He would treat that time monument inscription as the last one and focus on the other three sides first. He tried again and again, sending his consciousness into different time monument inscriptions. In the end, he relied on the power of the undying scripture. His soul force carried his consciousness and entered the three sides of the time monument inscription at the same time. For a period of time, that strange feeling grew clearer and clearer. Gradually, he could see traces of it, and when he compared it to the other three sides, it wasn't formless. Qin Wentian attempted to use his consciousness to unleash his attacks in the time monument inscription, slashing out sword light. The might of the sword light in the three sides of the time monument inscription were all the same. The speed was also the same. He couldn't sense any difference at all. Time is relative. Qin Wentian mumbled. Even if the flow of time changed, for example in the time realm, there wouldn't be any difference if he attacked in the outside world. Because the flow of time in this entire space was the same. In that case, if I want to make it different, I can only do it in a different flow of time. A thought appeared in Qin Wentian's mind. He closed his eyes and stood up. With a wave of his hand, he directly slashed out a sword at the air. Many people turned their gazes to Qin Wentian. This sword strike was simple and unadorned. There was nothing special about it. This caused many people to have bewildered looks on their faces. This sword strike was too ordinary, there was nothing special about it. Why was there a need to slash it out? But in truth, Qin Wentian was currently using his powerful state of heart to deduce it. When he slashed out with this sword, a sword appeared in each of the three sides of the time monument inscription. This was an external sword strike. Hence a strange scene appeared. The sword in the first side of the time monument inscription suddenly sped up. The sword in the second side of the time monument inscription slowed down. As for the sword in the third side of the time monument inscription, it directly stopped. As expected, Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The flow of time was truly different. It was just that because time was relative, one wouldn't be able to sense it without a reference. The first side of the time monument inscription sped up the flow of time. The second side of the time monument inscription slowed down the flow of time. As for the third side of the time monument inscription, it stopped the flow of time. No wonder it was so quiet. If that's the case, the Tao of Time has three states: speed up, slow down, and stop. Qin Wentian mumbled. Was this the true meaning that the three sides of the time monument inscription wanted to transmit? In that case, what about the last side of the time monument inscription? Although he could sense that the flow of time in the three sides of the time monument inscription was different, he didn't have an astral soul, and it was impossible for him to comprehend the power of time. He lacked attribute energy and had no way to truly change the flow of time. His will flowed towards the fourth side of the time monument inscription. At this instant, the fourth side of the time monument inscription didn't obstruct his will from entering. The four sides of the time monument inscription radiated a resplendent light that shone onto Qin Wentian. At this instant, Qin Wentian felt an incomparably terrifying energy. This energy even caused him to feel fear. It was as though he was shuttling through the river of time. At this instant, time seemed to change. When that feeling vanished, everything seemed to have changed. In this space, there were countless majestic ancient palaces, like a flourishing world. Where is this place? Qin Wentian stared at this foreign scene as his heart pounded unceasingly. That energy was too heaven-defying, so heaven-defying to the point that he couldn't imagine it. It was like it shouldn't exist in this world. This is the past. An ethereal voice drifted over. Qin Wentian's heart pounded violently. This is the past. Do you know what the past is? That voice drifted over again. The ultimate Tao of time, transcending the river of time, reversing the flow of time and returning to the past? Qin Wentian mumbled. What was the past? only transcendence. Chapter 1786. At this moment, Qin Wentian's heart was extremely restless. Although Old Ghost had emphasized to him how extraordinary the Time Monument inscription was, he didn't dare to imagine that the power of the great Tao contained within the Time Monument inscription would actually be able to reverse time and return to the past. In that case, the identity of the person who did this was very obvious. The Time King, an existence that stood at the peak of the mystic region. This city was named after him, and this world was his cultivation ground. Even in the future, when the three hegemons organized the convention of the myriad realms, the location wasn't the location where the three hegemons were located, but was in the Time City instead. From this, one could very well imagine what sort of existence the Time King was. World overlords were already able to control heaven heart mandates. In that case, what sort of power would heavenly deities have? Transcending time, traveling through the river of time. In the past, Qin Wentian didn't even dare to imagine this. But now it truly happened to him. Do you know why you came to the past? It was unknown where the ethereal voice came from. Qin Wentian's expression was extremely heavy as he guessed. Because I comprehended the power of the Time Monument inscription and activated it, I was brought here? This is one of the reasons. But how can the Time Monument inscription appear so timely? That person laughed. Transcending time, seeing the past, peering into the future. It isn't that you comprehended the Time Monument inscription, but rather, it has always been waiting for you. The Time Monument inscription is waiting for me. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. Transcending time, peering into the past and the future. This was even more terrifying compared to prophecy, right? In that case, was the Sword Monarch's accomplishments already destined when he comprehended the Time Monument inscription? Was it because the Time King could see the future? Senior, with your capabilities, wouldn't you be unparalleled in the world? Qin Wentian spoke in a light voice. Ah, you are so naive. How can the Tao of the world be as simple as you imagine? Only when you reach my level would you be able to understand. I'm known as the Time King, but can I truly be unparalleled in the world? If I want to reverse time, I can't do it. I also have no way to change this world. My Tao is ultimately limited. I hope that someone can surpass me and truly transcend time. That voice laughed loudly. As expected, it was really the Time King of the mystic region, the Time King. All right, time's up. You can go back. Following that, a beam of light directly hit Qin Wentian's body. At this moment, Qin Wentian felt as if something had entered his body and directly imprinted on his chest. Boom! At this moment, Qin Wentian's body trembled violently as he returned to reality. He was still at his original position on the ancient mountain, maintaining the same posture as before. It was as though everything that had happened was just a dream, and he hadn't experienced anything at all. I'll wait for you in the future. A voice seemed to have traversed through the past and present, directly descending upon the time realm. This voice was illusory as though it didn't exist, yet it was truly transmitted into the ears of everyone. At this instant, within the time realm, the bodies of everyone trembled violently. They opened their eyes and looked up into the void. However, there was nothing there at all. There was no aura at all. There was only a single voice that pierced through time. Who? A major character spoke. Waves of shock rose in his heart. In the time realm, such a voice actually appeared. I'll wait for you in the future. There was no reply. It was impossible for there to be a reply. Qin Wentian stared at the void, feeling incomparably shocked in his heart. In that instant earlier, he actually returned to the past. Also, no one knew that he was the only one who was enveloped by the power of the Time Monument inscription. In that case, was the Time King there the Time King of the past or the Time King of the present? In the air, the 4 Time Monument inscriptions spun rapidly. After that, they transformed into 4 beams of light that illuminated the time realm before vanishing. Is it Senior Time King? A major character asked. There was still no reply. But when that voice rang out and the Time Monument inscription vanished, they understood that the rumors might be true. That Time Monument inscription was truly the work of the Time King. Back then, the Sword Monarch Jian Junlai had indeed inherited the power of the Time King. This was why he soared up into the sky and became the #1 swordsman in the mystic region. In that case, in the time realm today, who was the person who obtained the Time King's inheritance? I'll wait for you in the future. You? Who was he referring to? Numerous sharp gazes swept through the crowd, as though they were searching for the person who obtained the inheritance of the Time King. Qingfeng, is it you? In the Samsara temple, an elder transmitted his voice to Bai Qingfeng, a supreme genius of their sect. No, Bai Qingfeng replied, causing the elder of the Samsara temple to feel a little disappointed. After that he felt curious. If it wasn't Bai Qingfeng, who could it be? Could it be a supreme genius from another peak power? He wasn't the only one who had such thoughts. At this moment, many people were asking the most outstanding world overlords of their sections. In the end, they discovered that none of them were the world overlords. Naturally, this was all done through voice transmissions. No one knew about the situation of others because everyone was suspecting others. Who was the one who comprehended the Time Monument inscription and obtained the favor of the Time King? A major character asked. If there's such good fortune, I believe that person would have a chance to enter the tutelage of a heavenly deity. The hearts of everyone trembled. That's right, someone who obtained the inheritance of the Time King might very well become a sword monarch in the future. It was only normal for someone like Jian Junlai to enter the tutelage of a heavenly deity, right? They didn't believe that the Time King wouldn't be moved. However, there was still no one who admitted it. Their gazes were all staring at the others. At this moment, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't admit that he was the one who obtained the inheritance. Although the other party made it sound so nice, saying that he would have a chance to enter the tutelage of a heavenly deity, who knew the truth? The implications of this matter were too great. Because he had personally witnessed the abilities of the Time King, he suspected that even heavenly deities would covet the inheritance. Hence, only a fool would admit it. At this moment he sensed something at his chest. As expected, there was an item there that resembled a rune bone. There were terrifying runes of the great Tao engraved on it, resembling a true Tao bone. Also, it seemed to be a part of his body. As long as he willed it, he would be able to unleash the energy within. However, he didn't dare to use it now as he was worried that others would sense the source of the energy. Senior. At this moment, Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to the Skybreak heavenly deity in his mind. I'm here. The Skybreak heavenly deity replied. Earlier, the words spoken by the Time King were directed at me. Qin Wentian spoke. I know. My consciousness is one with yours and I experienced what happened earlier. The voice of the Skybreak heavenly deity was a little agitated. Seems like the undying successor was extraordinary. He was born extraordinary, and was destined to have heaven-defying accomplishments in the future. Earlier, that person was a God King character. There's an additional rune bone on my chest. What is that? Qin Wentian asked. A Tao bone. Your luck is truly too heaven-defying. Only extremely rare characters in the world would have a chance to inherit a Tao bone. Their ancestors must have been God Kings before for there to be such a possibility. As for you, you were bestowed a Tao bone by a God King. The Skybreak heavenly deity sighed. Is that so? Qin Wentian silently mused. In that case, his luck was truly very good. This might be a Tao bone that was even more valuable compared to his bloodline. Back then, he once heard that the ancestor of the Battle Saint tribe had his Battle Saint bone dug out by someone, causing the strongest inheritance of the tribe to be severed. From this, it seems like the Battle Saint tribe once had a God King character. Also, in his memories, when his father died in his first life, everything in his body was taken away. The other party wanted to seize everything from him, not even sparing his flesh, blood, and bones. Haha, your luck is truly too good. The Skybreak heavenly deity seemed to have thought of something as he laughed uproariously. Before this, we were still discussing what you should choose for your 8th astral soul. Although you have entered the world overlord realm, you have been hesitating. But now the Tao bone has already been imprinted on your body. It's like a heavenly formation. Do you still need to consider for your 8th astral soul? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed before he smiled. That's right, although he had already entered the world overlord realm, he first comprehended his world heart and heaven heart mandates. Hence, it didn't really matter if he comprehended his astral soul a little later. His will once roamed the 9 heavenly layers, but he kept hesitating. Right now, he was only left with 2 astral souls, and they would decide the ultimate path of his cultivation. Hence, he was very cautious and didn't communicate with them. Right now it was just like what the skybreak heavenly deity said. Good fortune descended from the heavens. Everything was fate. With the time Dao bone, maybe I don't need to rely on astral souls and can still use time-attributed energy. Qin Wentian spoke. That's true. However, if you have an astral soul, your attributes would be even stronger. The Dao bone would also amplify your insights into time. The Tao of time has always been something that is extremely difficult to comprehend. You shouldn't miss out on such an opportunity. I suggest you condense a time astral soul first. The skybreak heavenly deity suggested. Qin Wentian nodded silently. A time astral soul could be used together with other law attributes. If he comprehended a heaven heart mandate and fused it into his world heart, how powerful would that be? Layer. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to Luo Shenlei. Elder brother, what's the matter? Luo Shenlei replied. The legendary first-generation deity of the mystic region, the God King of Time. Are there any records of him in the ancient records of the Luoshan clan? Qin Wentian asked. I've heard a little about it before. The first-generation overlord of the mystic region is equivalent to the peak characters of the three hegemonic powers of the mystic region added together. How powerful is he? He's like that existence from the universe region of the Western Paradise. I didn't expect that he really left behind some ruins in the time realm. Luo Shenlei spoke. What happened to the Lord of Time? Qin Wentian asked. I'm not sure about this. There are rumors that he transcended time and headed to the past and the future, prying into the past and present. There are also rumors that he pursued the ultimate Tao of time and gained control over the river of time. Luo Shenlei replied. If that was truly the Time King earlier, I wonder who in the mystic region obtained his good fortune. What sort of existence would the person he is waiting for in the future be? Is another sword monarch going to appear in the mystic region? Luo Shenlei seemed to be mumbling to herself. Qin Wentian smiled. Layer did not know that the voice was directed at him. Moreover, he did not expect Layer to have heard of the sword monarch. Luo Shenlei didn't know, the others didn't know as well. Other than Qin Wentian himself. The eyes of those major characters flashed as they stared at the crowd. Their immortal senses swept out unceasingly, wanting to find the person who spoke. The Time King was waiting for him in the future. This meant that this person would definitely become a major character in the mystic region in the future. However, they didn't even know who this person was. They also didn't know which genius world overlord from which peak power the Time King would appear. What a pity. I almost comprehended it, but someone beat me to it. I wonder which bastard is it. 10 Miles Springwind cursed in a low voice. Qin Wentian had a face filled with black lines. Old Ghost sighed silently in his heart. This time around, did he miss it again? Chao Tian and Phoenix were also staring at the crowd. Just like everyone else, they were guessing who that voice was directed at exactly. Chapter 1787. Just when everyone was guessing, among the many world overlords on the ancient mountain, a young world overlord dressed in long robes turned his gaze to 10 Miles Springwind. He coldly spoke. Who are you calling a bastard? As the sound of his voice rang out, the gazes of everyone instantly turned over. Earlier, 10 Miles Springwind said that he didn't know which bastard was the first to speak. But now this young man actually stood out to speak? What did he mean by this? Could it be 10 Miles Springwind also stared at this young man as a strange expression appeared on his face? Could it be that because of his cursing the main character appeared? Earlier, there was a major character who invited him, but this young man didn't even stand out. Yet, he couldn't endure a single curse from him? You are? Someone asked. He wasn't too familiar with this young man. I'm from the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain. The young man calmly replied. Only now did everyone see the sun and moon diagram on his robes. As for many major characters, they had already guessed the identity of this young man. Now that they heard him personally saying it, their eyes all gleamed with sharpness. They should have long guessed that it might be him. How could they neglect a world overlord from the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain? Who is Old Man Tianshi to you? A major character asked. After that, many people felt shocked in their hearts. Old Man Tianshi, this master of the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain? was an extremely ancient existence. In truth, before the sword monarch Jian Junlai rose up, he was even more famous than Jian Junlai. Also, the energy he was most proficient in was related to time. The power of time from a certain perspective wasn't a type of energy, because the power of time alone didn't have any real attacks. However, this mysterious and unfathomable energy had terrifying effects. This was especially so when it fused with other types of energy to comprehend heaven-heart mandates. "He's my master," the young man calmly spoke. "My name is Yu Chongkong. For this convention, I'm here representing the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain." "You inherited Old Man Tianqi's time energy?" someone asked. Naturally, Yu Chongkong nodded. "You comprehended the time monument inscription?" another major character asked. At this moment, this young world overlord who appeared for the first time in the convention became the focus of attention of countless world overlords. The Time King said, "I'll wait for you in the future." Was it meant for him? This Yu Chongkong, who came from the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain of the Mystic Region, was destined to become a character at the peak of the Mystic Region in the future? Out of the 4 sides of the Time Monument inscription, 3 of them can change the flow of time. They are respectively increasing the flow of time, slowing the flow of time, and stopping the flow of time. As for the last side, it contains the strongest power of time, and has the power to traverse the past and future. Earlier, the voice of Senior Time King originated from the future. Yu Chongkong spoke frankly with assurance. The sun and moon robes on him fluttered in the wind, exuding magnificence through the generations. He was like the most dazzling star in the sky, attracting the attention of everyone. His future was destined to be extraordinary. One couldn't help but say that his analysis was very close to the truth. He who originally possessed time-attributed energy could sense the change in the flow of time in the 3 sides of the Time Monument inscription. This wasn't too difficult. As for the last side of the monument, he deduced it purely based on the words of the Time Realm Lord. However, everyone involuntarily believed him because his analysis was completely logical, and it also matched with the voice of the Time King. In addition, only he stood out to speak. In that case, other than him, who else could it be? A strange expression appeared on Qin Wentian's face as he stared at the world overlord named Yu Chongkong. This man's aura was extraordinary. Even when he was lying, he still exuded elegance. Because no one wanted to admit it, he might as well stand out and pretend to be someone else. What power is the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain? Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to 10 Miles Springwind as he asked. The Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain is a major power in the Mystic Region. Although they aren't as large as the Samsara Temple or the Clear Sky God Mountain, no one would dare to antagonize them because Old Man Tianqi from the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain is extremely powerful. Right now, the Time King's inheritance was obtained by the successor of the Sun-Moon Sacred Mountain. This would undoubtedly be like adding wings to a tiger. What a pity. 10 Miles Springwind spoke in a depressed manner. He originally has an extraordinary background. If he lied and said that he obtained the favor of the Time King, he would undoubtedly be able to soar up into the heavens. In fact, he might even gain the favor of some hegemonic powers. However, there's also a risk. Qin Wentian stared at Yu Chongkong. This person was truly gutsy and scheming. Naturally, Qin Wentian wouldn't step out to expose this imposter. He was different from this imposter. His background was originally very sensitive, and in addition, he didn't have a powerful background in the Mystic Region to support him. If he admitted to it, he would undoubtedly be placing himself in an extremely dangerous situation. As for the ending, it would depend on the mood of those peak characters. He might gain the favor of those peak characters, but naturally, he might also end up in a miserable state. He didn't forget the deeds of the ancestor of the Battle Saint tribe. He had the Tao bone of a heavenly deity. It was a supreme treasure. However, this imposter Yu Chongkong didn't have such worries. He could fabricate other reasons and gain some insights. Hence, their situations were different. Since someone was willing to step out and pretend to be Yu Chongkong, he was happy to watch from the side. In the future, no one would notice him. In the future, if he revealed the power of time, it would be because he also had this type of astral soul. It wouldn't be strange at all. Yu Chongkong's words caused him to become the focal point of the convention. The major characters from the various powers all walked up to him. Some congratulated him, some admired him, some tried to rope him in. At this moment, a major character from a hegemonic power laughed. I've once met with old man Tianshi. Now that I've met virtuous nephew, I'm sure your master would be happy that you have such accomplishments in the future. After the convention ends, you would have a chance to reach even higher heights. Many thanks for senior's words. Yu Chongkong was neither servile nor overbearing. He smiled with gratitude. You can just refer to me as uncle. There's no need to treat me as an outsider. That major character laughed. In that case, your nephew will accept it. Yu Chongkong changed his words. He also knew that at this moment, he should maintain a good relationship with the major powers. This would only be beneficial to him and prevent these people from having designs on him. I didn't expect to be fortunate enough to be able to hear the Time King's voice, and it even came from the future. Realm Lord Chongkong's comprehension abilities are extraordinary. In the future, you would definitely become a character like the Sword Monarch. Dong Huangying walked up and smiled. Her charm was extraordinary. Not only was her talent outstanding, she was also proficient in winning over people's hearts. The elders beside her all trusted her to do things for her. Little Princess praises me too much. Little Princess is already an Empyrean at such a young age, and would step into the World Overlord realm sooner or later. I wonder who would be lucky enough to win Little Princess's heart in the future. How envious! Yu Chongkong smiled, praising Dong Huangying's beauty. There seemed to be a hidden meaning in his words, causing the genius young man beside Dong Huangying to stare warily at him. Dong Huangying's beautiful face blushed, making her look even more beautiful and captivating. This woman is very powerful. It's the same as how she tried to rope Yuan back then. Now she is trying to rope in Yu Chongkong as well, fully utilizing the advantage of her beauty. Given her personality, how would she blush so easily? 10 Miles Springwind transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Dong Huangying truly has some tricks up her sleeves. In addition to her beauty, it's easy for people to have a favorable impression of her. Qin Wentian replied. This Yu Chongkong is also very scheming. His words caused one's imagination to run wild. Given his talent and identity as Old Man Tianqi's successor, in addition to the Time King's inheritance, if he has a chance to become the son-in-law of the Donghuang Heavens, no one would dare to touch him. The experts of the mystic region would only watch as he grows stronger. 10 Miles Springwind spoke. Qin Wentian naturally knew this. From the time Yu Chongkong impersonated the Time King's inheritance, he could already tell how scheming Yu Chongkong was. Qin Wentian was thinking that if Yu Chongkong really wanted to become the son-in-law of the Donghuang Heavens, should he remind Dong Huangying? The Time Monument inscription has vanished. The next opportunity wouldn't appear so quickly. I'll return first to cultivate. Qin Wentian glanced at the lively crowd as he spoke. 10 Miles Springwind and the others nodded. They didn't want to join in the fun. Later I'll return first. Qin Wentian transmitted his voiceover. Luo Xinlei replied, I'll return as well. After speaking, Qin Wentian quietly departed. Compared to the commotion over at Yu Chongkong's place, no one cared about his departure. After returning, Qin Wentian quietly cultivated, comprehending the power of the Dao Bone. In the palace, he sealed the space around him and sat there with his eyes closed. A formless power of time circulated around his chest, causing the flow of time in this entire space to be different from the flow of time in the external world. This Dao Bone contained an extraordinary power of time, and was extremely powerful, possessing an unfathomable might. As Qin Wentian comprehended it, he also attempted to infuse the time energy into his World Heart and Heaven Heart mandate. In the future, he would definitely comprehend an even stronger Heaven Heart mandate. After he exited this place, he would condense an astral soul and condense an astral soul. The palace that Qin Wentian was in was very quiet. But during this period of time, Qin Wentian's name has already resounded throughout the convention. There were countless visitors and he became a famous person, maintaining a very friendly relationship with the various peak powers. 10 Miles Springwind would occasionally chat with Qin Wentian via voice transmission. He said that as expected, Qin Wentian was scheming and had the intention to express goodwill to Dong Huangying, causing the flower protector beside Dong Huangying to be unhappy. The two of them almost erupted into a conflict but were stopped by Dong Huangying. 10 Miles Springwind guessed that in the end, Dong Huangying might give up on the flower protector and choose to be close to Qin Wentian. After all, Yu Changkong's potential was boundless. The God King was waiting for him in the future. Why haven't I seen Brother Qin during these days? Coincidentally, today Dong Huangying sent a voice transmission to Qin Wentian. Right now, both of them could be considered friends. Given Dong Huangying's methods of winning people's hearts, she naturally had to maintain this relationship frequently. Qin Wentian took out his messaging crystal and hesitated a little. After that, he asked, I heard that little princess has been very busy recently. There seems to be a genius pursuing you. Little princess, are you moved? Why? Could it be that Brother Qin is jealous? Dong Huangying giggled. Little princess has met my wife before. How would I have any improper thoughts? Qin Wentian smiled. Little princess, what do you think of Yu Changkong? He's a dragon among humans, exuding boundless magnificence and unparalleled talent. Right now, there are already people speculating that he might be able to join a heavenly deity's tutelage. Dong Huangying's evaluation of Yu Changkong was very high. However, when I saw him talking to little princess for the first time, he already mentioned his heart. His words seem a little inappropriate, it's a little frivolous. It's hard to ascertain his character. Qin Wentian reminded. He initially didn't want to interfere in this matter, but since Dong Huangying said that they were friends, he had to remind her no matter what. A strange expression appeared on Dong Huangying's face. After that, she smiled. Brother Qin, if you aren't jealous, I'm even suspecting that you are jealous of him stealing your limelight. However, Brother Qin has already unleashed his 13 heaven heart mandates. Who doesn't know of your talent? Even for a supreme character like Yu Changkong, it's impossible for him to mask Brother Qin's talent. There's no need to compete with him. Dong Huangying seemed to be consoling Qin Wentian, telling Qin Wentian not to compete with Yu Changkong in terms of talent. She felt that Qin Wentian was jealous of Yu Changkong. Chapter 1788. Qin Wentian was somewhat speechless. Dong Huangying even intentionally praised his talent. It's just that she didn't want him to compare himself to Yu Changkong. Clearly, she felt that Yu Changkong was more outstanding even though Qin Wentian had released 13 heaven heart mandates. In truth, Yu Changkong was truly a character with supreme talent. His attainments in the Tao of Time were very high. If not, no matter how gutsy he was, he wouldn't dare to impersonate the Time King. If his talent wasn't high enough, it would be very easy for him to be exposed. Would the Time King choose a mediocre character? During these days, Yu Changkong had also intentionally displayed his talent, attracting the attention of many world overlords in the convention of the myriad realms. No wonder Dong Huangying would say this. Little princess, I don't have the intention to compare myself to him. I'm just stating the facts. It's fine if you admire his talent, but if you want to get closer to him, you still have to observe his character. Qin Wentian reminded again. Enough, Brother Qin. I naturally understand this. There will still be good fortune after the convention of the myriad realms. Brother Qin, you have to work hard. Dong Huangying smiled, intentionally changing the topic. Clearly, she didn't place Qin Wentian's words in her heart. Since she intentionally didn't want to talk about this matter, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't keep talking about it. He could only reply, let's hope that there's good fortune. Little princess, I'm going to cultivate now. There's no need to reply. After speaking, Qin Wentian kept his messaging crystal and bitterly smiled as he shook his head. He has already reminded Dong Huangying. If Dong Huangying took his words to heart, she would naturally be more alert. But if she didn't take his words to heart, there was nothing he could do about it. He only said this much. He didn't even tell 10 Miles Springwind and the others about the Dao Bone. He naturally wouldn't tell Dong Huangying about this. In terms of relationship, they were much closer compared to Dong Huangying. Naturally, this matter was a secret to him, but to 10 Miles Springwind and the others, it wasn't important at all. Hence, he didn't intentionally hide this from them. Maybe I'm thinking too much. Qin Wentian mumbled. Even if Dong Huangying ended up together with Yu Changkong, most probably given Dong Huangying's status, Yu Changkong wouldn't do anything to her and would still treat her well. Also, Yu Changkong himself had extraordinary talent and was naturally a good candidate for Dong Huangying. Why was he worrying here? The three hegemonic powers of the mystic region were Ziwei Divine Court, Great Devil Divine Palace, and Heavenly Deity Mountain. The Eastern Royal Immortal Realms was a vassal of the Ziwei Divine Court. Their background was extremely powerful. It's just that if Dong Huangying fantasized that Yu Chongkong would be like the Sword Monarch back then, challenging heavenly deities on the Heavenly Deity Mountain, this was most probably impossible. How many people in the world could achieve such a feat? Qin Wentian didn't think too much about this. He continued to immerse himself in cultivation. The commotion in the outside world seemed to have nothing to do with him. He came to participate in the convention of the myriad realms because he wanted to broaden his horizons with the various world overlords of the mystic region. He wanted to walk out of the Qingcheng realm. Right now, in the convention, he met Luoshan Lei and learned that his mother's clan was the Luoshan clan. He also learned that his father's clan was in the Heaven region. He even saw the mysterious abilities of the Time King, able to peer into the past and the future, and even obtain the Tao Bone of a heavenly deity. To him, this convention of the myriad realms could already be considered a great harvest. He was very satisfied. Right now, other than cultivating, he also hoped that he would be able to meet his uncle who was rushing over here. Naturally, the flow of time in the time realm was different from the outside world. Maybe a few years might pass in here, but only a few days might pass in the outside world. There was no need to be anxious. Today, the time realm suddenly trembled. Qin Wentian, who was cultivating in his palace, could sense the rumbling of the heavens and earth. He opened his eyes, gleaming with sharpness. After that, he walked out of the palace and stared into the distance. He saw an incomparably majestic gigantic mountain descending from the sky, directly enveloping the ancient mountain he was on earlier. This mountain was even more majestic, it was impossible to climb it. The entire mountain was glowing with light, incomparably dazzling. There was actually a crystalline luster circulating around the ancient mountain. Heavenly Deity Mountain. In the time realm, many people exclaimed in shock. This mountain seemed to have the shadow of the Heavenly Deity Mountain. Those major characters understood that the good fortune of the Heavenly Deity Mountain has descended. They could enter the time realm to search for good fortune. Just when the many world overlords were in an uproar, the heavens and earth trembled once more. In the airspace above the time realm, devil might churned wildly, resembling an apocalyptic world. After that, a demonic platform descended from the sky, floating in the air, exuding an unparalleled pressure. On this demonic platform there was a demonic throne. On the throne there was a supreme demonic treasure, the demonic armor. Beside the throne there was also a demonic spear, exuding a heaven-shaking pressure. The Great Devil Divine Battle Platform of the Great Devil Divine Palace. Another person felt his heart pounding. He knew the meaning behind the appearance of this devil platform. The experts of the Great Devil Divine Palace loved to battle. They had always been famous for their combat prowess, believing in iron-blooded combat strength. Everyone naturally understood the meaning behind this devil platform descending in the time realm. This was a platform meant for participants of the convention of the myriad realms. Beside it, the treasures of the victors would surely be extremely terrifying. Sadly, to the vast majority of people, this was nothing more than wishful thinking. The treasures of the Great Devil Divine Palace were things that even major characters would want to fight for. Ordinary world overlords and even transcendent-level world overlords wouldn't have a chance. Maybe, they could only head to the Heavenly Deity Mountain to search for good fortune. The appearance of the Heavenly Deity Mountain and the Great Devil Divine Battle Platform caused the entire time realm to tremble. However, this hasn't concluded yet. Because the three hegemonic powers of the convention of the myriad realms would always act together. Right now, there was no movement from the Ziwei Divine Court. Just when this thought appeared in the minds of people, in the boundless starry space, an incomparably resplendent beam of light suddenly shone down, resembling the light of a constellation. The Ziwei star had always been known as the Emperor constellation, and was incomparably exalted. At this moment, an incomparably dazzling imperial light descended from the sky. Next, the light of the constellations descended. In the void of the light realm, a sea of constellations appeared. In the center of the sea, there were 4 constellations that shone the brightest. Each constellation interweaved into the shape of a human, an illusory figure that was blurry. In the next instant, the light from the sea of constellations illuminated the entire time realm, shining on the bodies of every expert. After that, the faces of the experts of the convention of the myriad realms could be seen on the 4 constellations. However, the faces of the world overlords only flashed for an instant, changing constantly. Many people stared at this strange scene. Could it be that the faces of every world overlord would be reflected in the constellation sea? But in reality, this wasn't the case. When the light from the constellation ocean shone on the bodies of many people, it only lasted for an instant. Their appearances weren't imprinted in the constellation ocean. Only when the light shone on some young world overlords would their appearances be imprinted in the human-shaped constellation ocean. Qin Wentian, who was standing in the palace, naturally didn't escape the light from the constellation sea as well. When the light shone on him, his face in the air flickered for an instant. After that, he felt the light from the constellations shining on him. There seemed to be a mysterious energy summoning him, wanting him to head to the constellation sea. What a mysterious energy! Qin Wentian silently mused. The heavenly deity mountain, great devil battle platform, constellation sea. Behind them, there were the silhouettes of 3 hegemonic powers. The peak powers of the mystic region, the heavenly deity mountain, great devil divine palace, and Ziwei divine court. The convention of the myriad realms was a grand event of the peak of the mystic region. How could the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region not be present? This was also the source of the rallying power of the convention of the myriad realms. Countless world overlords rushed here from all over the mystic region to participate in this event. Elder brother, I saw you. Luo Xinlei's voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind. I saw you too. My figure flashed by in the constellations sea. Qin Wentian took out his messaging crystal as he spoke. Seems like for this convention, the Ziwei divine court is still biased towards the younger generations. Their target is very clear, excluding the world overlords of the older generations. In this constellation sea, there are 4 human-shaped shadows. This means that they might be able to select the 4 most outstanding geniuses from the younger generations. Maybe they might have a chance to join the Ziwei divine court. Luo Xinlei guessed. Elder brother, if you participate, there shouldn't be a problem. You would definitely be able to join the Ziwei divine court. Join the Ziwei divine court? Qin Wentian mumbled. For some reason, he didn't have such thoughts towards the hegemonic powers of the mystic region. Maybe it was because he had obtained the undying inheritance, or maybe it was because he didn't trust those hegemonic powers. He was still filled with reverence towards those lofty hegemonic powers. However, reverence didn't represent trust. To him, those hegemonic powers were completely foreign to him. He didn't understand them. It was naturally hard for him to trust them. In addition, the hatred he bore might implicate the heavenly deity race of the heaven region. The Great Devil Divine Palace is as tyrannical and direct as ever. They provided the Great Devil Divine Battle platform, allowing you to fight to your heart's content. The rewards have already been prepared, just waiting for you to come and collect them. This is the usual style of the Great Devil Divine Palace. Luo Xinlei laughed. The heavenly deity mountain is still fond of such superficial things. No wonder they are ranked last among the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region. However, I can enter and see what's inside. Lei, do you think I should join a heavenly deity power? Qin Wentian suddenly asked. On the other side, Luo Xinlei fell silent. Qin Wentian's situation was extremely complicated. No one was clearer than her on this point. For the Luotian clan's side, if they were of one mind, things would naturally be easy. Her elder brother can directly head to the Luotian clan. However, the Luotian clan originally had a different view of what happened in the past. If Qin Wentian went to the Luotian clan, she didn't know if it would be good or bad. Also, over there, Qin Wentian's enemies were extremely powerful. She was very clear that it was impossible for the 3 hegemonic powers of the mystic region to stand out against them for Qin Wentian. Hence, Luo Xinlei didn't know how to reply to this question. After a long period of silence, she replied, Elder brother, you can decide for yourself. In any case, no matter what, I will stand on your side. Okay. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. Although he didn't ask Luo Xinlei about the Luotian clan situation, he could faintly guess a little in his heart. Naturally, he still had to wait until he met his uncle before he could clarify everything. In this convention, was he going to release his own radiance? You're tuning in to the Lee May Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.